FOspreys.com and Swooper the Ospreys all season.
Here at Forever Vets, we know how important reviews are, so we asked some of our clients how they felt about us. Cooper, the golden retriever, said,
"The vet pets me a lot, and I get treats, and my ear feels better, and I love it."
Jake, the Labrador, loves his time outside.
"The pool is so big, my tummy stopped hurting. Do you have a ball? Can you throw a ball? I like the pool."
Stella the Frenchie is one of our boarding clients.
"The accommodations are lovely. They adore me, like my mom, and provide me all the attention that I deserve. I would highly recommend them to a friend."
And our cat friend Charlie said,
"Whatever. I wasn't a fan of the shot, but Dad said I had to go. They were nice and didn't annoy me, so whatever."
We love all our patients and work to provide them the best care. Whether your fur baby needs annual shots or needs something a little more serious, our caring staff at Forever Vets loves all your furry family members and their unique personalities. Come visit one of our 12 locations across Jacksonville and let your pet become another satisfied member of the Forever Vets family. Visit forevervets.com to find the location near you.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Grizzlies superstar John Morant will be permitted to practice and travel with the team while serving his 25-game suspension to start the season for conduct detrimental to the NBA. He was suspended for posing with a handgun in a live stream video May 13th, less than 2 months after an 8-game suspension for displaying a handgun on another live stream video. 76er star James Harden not in attendance for the team's media day today. GM Daryl Morey said Harden continues to seek a trade. The team is working with his reps to resolve that in the best way for everybody. Philly's asking price remains high. As a result, Harden still a member of the Sixers. Teammate Joel Embiid.
Hopefully the situation with James get resolved. If he's here, we love him. You know, we want him to be with us, and I think we have a better team with him on the floor. So, and I think he knows it too. So hopefully that get resolved. Then, you know, if that doesn't change anything, it doesn't change the goal. It doesn't change anything. You know, the goal is still to go out there and try to win a championship, whatever it takes.
NFL quarterback Desmond Ridder will remain the Falcons' starting quarterback despite his struggles.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, the MLB playoffs are here, and I'm going to tell you all the storylines you should be paying attention to. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Wow, it took a second half of last season, a little division championship win at the end of the season, and a playoff win in epic proportion. to get a little spoiled around here in Jacksonville. Now a win is not good enough, not sexy enough. That offense still holding people back from buying into the Jacksonville Jaguars after a 23-7 win over the Atlanta Falcons here in London. Good Monday, everybody, and hope you had a terrific weekend. It was better because of a Sunday win, whether you thought it was good enough or not. Brent Martineau here, live from London all week long, and back in the Action Sports Shack studios, we find Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, and a win is a win in the NFL, boys, because look at those scores around the league on Sunday. It sure ain't easy to win in this league.
It's not. A couple of blowouts on Sunday, too. It was a wild day of football.
Crazy scores. The Bengals stink, I guess, or the Titans are better than we think. The Rams are better than we think, and the Colts almost came back anyway and still were in first place. Now everybody's in first place. And the Houston Texans are actually pretty good. We know nothing about the NFL after talking about it for 6 months in the offseason.
Yeah, it seems like everything we knew about every team is just turned on its head 4 weeks into the season.
And who knew the biggest star in the NFL by the quarter pole would be Taylor Swift anyway? I mean, not even a football player.
Are we done
in NFL circles?
Are we done with her yet? Or can we just move the car forward and not look back at this point?
Oh, I wish. I mean, between the Kelsey's mom, Taylor Swift, I mean, it's just too much. I can't take it. I'm annoyed by it.
Yeah.
I just can we let it go? I need more Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers discussion in my life than the Kelseys. You know what? I've been asking this for years. Kasey, I've been asking you this for the years. Nobody seems to not like Kansas City Chiefs. They're a likable franchise. I don't think they irked anybody. Now they have. Now they have. They've done it. I think now they become this unlikable team because Kelsey, because the Taylor Swift stuff, it's being shoved down our throat. I know you love Taylor Swift, Kasey, but you know what? Not everybody does. So now I hate Kansas City. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Well, that's fine, Brent. Every time you've brought it up, saying that people don't hate Kansas City in the last 2 years, every time I've hit back with I hate Kansas City, and people do hate Kansas City. So I'm glad you have finally figured out how to get annoyed with them just like the rest of the world. And frankly, I didn't think there was enough Taylor Swift last night. I actually thought there was a lot of football being played. I thought they could do a better job showing the crowd and Taylor Swift specifically.
Taylor Swift.
So
yeah, you didn't see enough of that last night. Let me ask you this.
Actually wasn't enough. Yeah.
Had I come to you in the beginning of the season and told you about a quarter of the way through the season, you'd be more tired of Mama Kelsey than you would be of Brittany and Jackson Mahomes. Would you have believed it?
Not really, but it has been a lot of Mama Kelsey.
A lot of Mama Kelsey.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, listen, with all due respect to Mama Kelsey, who has raised probably two very good athletes, right?
Who can beat you
I'm
up,
sure they're
by the
great
way.
kids,
Yes.
right? Yeah, they're great kids. I don't give a damn anymore if she goes from Philadelphia to New York.
Thank
I mean,
you.
what else does she have to do? I mean, the boy's got millions of dollars. They can take care of her. That's not a big deal to me anymore. It was cute for a minute, but sorry, it's over.
It's a one-off.
Don't want to hear about it anymore.
It's you living in the vacation destination rather than visiting for 3 days. It's like no one wants to live in Aruba for 17 years. They just want to visit for a long weekend and go home.
It's true.
It's just wild. Back to the Jags, at least. We can talk about them. Guys, it's a good win. I mean, are you I feel like the fan base, again, we live in this bubble now, and most of it's on social media, and we love that about the Jags fans. And so you get a lot of feedback during games. You get feedback after games. My sense is hey, it's a good win because it's a win, but it's not good enough. Is that what you guys feel too, or am I overreacting?
I think it was good enough. I mean, granted, people want to see high octane, high powered. That's not necessarily what you got, but you got winning football. And they didn't just win by the skin of their teeth either. They pretty much had the game in hand the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, what Buffalo did to Miami, but they won. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. I mean, it wasn't the most incredible game played. There's no doubt about it, but it is certainly better than what they did against Houston, and I'll take it.
Yeah, and so you bring up a good point, Kasey, and again, it was hard to be as bad as they were against Houston, honestly. I think the bar was pretty low because they were bad, and Houston might be better than we think, but it doesn't matter. The Jags were bad in that game in all three phases, so there's only one way to go. But I said all week a few things, and one was Doug Peterson. I put it on him. I was like, I think this is Doug. I think that, I mean, not why they're losing or playing bad specifically, but I think it's up to him to push the right buttons to get them playing better, to get them starting faster, to get the offense a little bit more in rhythm and in sync. And so here on a Monday, I give credit to Doug Peterson because whatever he did, however he got them refocused coming off 2 tough losses, one they were pissed off at, the other one they were stunned by, and I think he did a good job of getting them re-energized even with all the travel and playing here in London, which can have 2 different effects sometimes on teams. And then on top of it, they did start fast. They got the offense going enough, still not to the level people want to see it, but they did enough to put their defense in a good position to make the big play they did and really increase the lead. Are there some warts still out there? Absolutely. We'll talk about those. But, guys, I give a lot of credit to Doug, and this is the guy I'm looking at as the star of this organization along with Trevor Lawrence when it's going not so great to fix it. And you know what? The Jags offense has not been great. Some of the metrics say they've been pretty bad, actually, in some areas. But they're 2-2, and they haven't played near their best football yet. It's not that bad of a spot to be in.
No, and at 2-2, you're kind of thankful, to be honest with you, based on some of the play you saw early on from this team. To be 2-2 at this point, obviously a letdown for where you may have thought you were going to be, but after the last couple of weeks, you got to be happy to be there.
How about this defense, guys? We'll get to Trevor and the offense in just a moment, but a quick word on the defense. 3 out of 4 games now, they have been really good. Now, Bijan Robinson ripped them up a little bit, and he's talented now. I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but he's really good. And they just didn't give it to him enough, or it might have been a different story. And you're facing Desmond Ridder. They've got issues there. There's no doubt about it. Atlanta does. Atlanta's coming off a 6-point effort, and then they hardly did anything on offense in the first half especially. So, but I just don't think you can take away from the Jags' defensive effort by saying, well, yeah, it was against Atlanta, who's struggling. So what? I mean, it was against a rookie quarterback last week in Houston that they gave up 37 points, a lot of that on special teams too. But this defense is, as much as the offense is, I think, disappointed in many respects so far, this defense has exceeded expectations. And here comes Josh Allen, by the way. He now leads the NFL in sacks. It's bigger than sacks with Josh Allen, but this was building last year. He's had 2 monster games, but he also had a big tackle for loss. He's got a strip sack fumble. Josh Allen is doing what he needed to do, and this defense, quite frankly, 3 out of 4 games, guys, is doing what they needed to do and exceeding expectations of many of the fan base.
Josh Allen playing lights out right now, and you're kind of happy because you want to see Josh Allen break out, but you're kind of a little bit nervous wondering what that means for the end of the season.
Brent, I don't know. I think with their defense, I mean, yeah, Josh Allen was incredible again, but I think it is kind of what we thought, like they'd be decent. They've had really good showings against Kansas City. The Houston thing is inexcusable. I don't care what you say about special teams. Yes, they gave up some there. It's inexcusable. Rookie quarterback. Pittsburgh just kind of got some of that, though. I think you can look at this and say, well, it's Desmond Ridder, because it was, Brent. I'm here to tell you I was wrong. Desmond Ridder stinks. Like, he's not an NFL quarterback.
He stinks.
So, yes, they deserve credit for 3 out of 4 times they did well, but I think you can't look at that and say, oh, that's the norm because Desmond Ridder stinks.
Well, they're going to get a big challenge this week against the Buffalo Bills, and then we'll find out if it's a little more normal. But I thought this defense would be pretty good. Even last year when they were good, it was takeaways, but they still gave up a lot of yardage. I think they're doing a lot of things right now to help their offense out, but also keep you feeling good about the game flow when the Jags are either down or in the lead. For example, they go 17-7, I think it was, in the third quarter, and you still had to hold off one more time, right? And they did, and it was Trey Herndon making the play in the back of the end zone on 4th and 3. That ended up being late in the fourth quarter, or middle of the fourth quarter, I think, at that time, 6 minutes to go. But, they made one more play. And a lot of times, bad defense give up that touchdown. Now it's 17-14. Now there's a lot of pressure on your offense. And instead, they gave the ball back to their offense. They gave them another breath of life. And I thought it was that drive that they went down and got 2 big first downs, chewed a bunch of more time off the clock, all those things, and then put the game away. So I might have my sequencing wrong, but you get the idea. They're doing enough And then they're making the big play. I mean, Darius Williams' play was the biggest one of the games, guys. It was the separator. And really, Cisco tried to give him another one to really put the game away, and the offense just didn't do it. So I get what you're saying, Kasey. And I guess, again, we're going to find out here against Buffalo because they just put up 48. We know how good Josh Allen is. But I think you can buy into some of the things this defense is doing. Not to be the best defense in the league, but to maybe be a very middle-of-the-road to top 12, top 15 kind of defense this year. I could see it shaking out that way here in Jacksonville.
I mean, the takeaways keep coming. They'll do better than that.
Top 15 is definitely reasonable. And I agree with you that they're going to take it away. I think that's crystal clear. But what I'm concerned about now with the defense is, and it's not just a Bijan Robinson thing, because we've seen it at times. I thought they were going to stop the run. I've thought that throughout the year. And now what happened with Bijan Robinson, and there's been some other moments in previous games, I'm like, maybe that's not what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to do just enough in the run game, and then they're going to take the football away. So I think they've just changed my perception of what they're going to do well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think my interpretation of Bijan Robinson was when he got to the outside, he got dangerous.
Sure.
And obviously
he felt dangerous between the tackles as well. He was bouncing off guys right and left.
Well, I don't know completely, guys. If you measure some of the runs, I mean, there were tackles for losses by Foye Oluokun and also and now it wasn't all on Bijan Robinson, but there were a couple on him too. So, like, I think the big runs were the big runs, but I thought a lot of it came from the outside. I mean, maybe there's some kind of metric that shows there is one. I just haven't seen it yet to show where the runs were. And they weren't lights out against the run. I understand that. But here's the thing I'm buying into a little bit more. I think Josh Allen's playing big. I think Foye Oluokun's playing big. I think Tyson Campbell's good. I think Darius Williams is underrated. And I think Andre Sisco's good. And we haven't even heard from Rayshon Jenkins really this year. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they have players at all three levels that are pretty damn good, is my point. Could they have more? You like to see Trayvon Walker keep going. I thought Foley Fatukasi showed up a little bit yesterday,
Finally.
So maybe that will continue. They're going to get some help with Smoot and Hamilton. So, again, before we dedicate this whole show to the offense, and it's not good enough, and they did some good things, this defense – I mean, they've got players, and maybe you're right, Case. Maybe on our show we talked, hey, they do have players. We noticed that they have players. I just don't think there was a lot of belief in this defense because everybody was so hung up on the pass rush and that they couldn't get home. And the pass rush is not fixed by any means, but they did do an adequate enough job yesterday with an interior push and Josh Allen's big day to upset things. I just like that they have some star power on that side of the ball.
They do. They have star power. I would say on the pass rush, it was the first time in – what is that, 20-something games that I felt like Foley Fatukasi played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, he was an impact player, pushing guys backwards, helped Josh Allen with one of his sacks. I mean, he was good. But seriously, I feel like it's the first time that I've said that in a year and 4 games now. So that's not good enough. They still have to get better outside of Josh Allen on their pass rush, but they do have stars. And shout out Trey Herndon. Like, he's playing well. Like, he's
playing
good.
well.
I think extremely underrated. Like, there was a couple of plays in the Texans game, but they all got burnt in the Texans game, let's be honest. But 3 of the 4 games, he's been really well, and he's made plays for them. Like, I am unbelievably impressed.
Yeah, he's their secondary, man, has good players. Like, you can buy into most anyone in their secondary right now. They've got to get more consistent play up front. I'll give that. But it is good to see Josh Allen having the game or the year so far that we thought. And people are going to be like, well, it came in 2 games. It's like, well, if he has 3 sacks or 2 sacks every other game, that's going to be a monster year, by the way. Like, that's what guys do that have big years. Like, they have these monster games. Khalil Mack had 0 sacks, I think, put into yesterday, and then had 6. So it can work that way in the NFL. But I think you even see that with the T.J. Watts, and used to see it with J.J. Watt and the Bosa's, that they stack their numbers in probably like 5 or 6 games where a lot of their stats come from. Not to say they're still not a force, but that's where a lot of the numbers come from. All right, let's go back to the other side of the ball. Trevor Lawrence. This continues to be an interesting back and forth, again, with Jags fans on where Trevor's at. I believe through the first quarter of the season, Trevor Lawrence is playing good football. I don't think he's gotten enough help around him. I think there are still concerns about the offensive line, and I think that because of that, there's some timing issues or maybe even total trust issues to let the rest of the offense go, and everybody's talking about the lack of the vertical pass game. To me, that's based off some of those things. But, guys, I think Trevor's doing what Trevor needs to do, and I think He was the reason on the offensive side of the football that they won that game at Wembley Stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's hard to debate, although it's not like he had a ton of standout moments. You can call back and be like, this, and this, all on Trevor's shoulders. That being said, very consistent play from Trevor out there, and guys in his face throughout the day didn't seem to shake him at all.
I would say, Brent, that they don't win if they don't have Trevor Lawrence. Like, the stats aren't incredible. They couldn't run the ball, period. The only guy that could run the ball was Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne, not really blaming him, blaming the offensive line, couldn't do anything. They couldn't move people, and Trevor got sacked a couple of times. But some of those throws that Trevor made, again, I think this goes back to your point from maybe week 1, I guess, or even in the offseason, like you already take it for granted. They don't win that game with Gardner Minshew, Blake Bortles, any of the other Jags quarterbacks that they've had. I don't think. Stats aren't eye-popping. Some of those throws were pretty legit. He got him in there, tight window, made plays with his legs. I think they lose without him. I really do.
Outside a couple of the runs that extended drives and gave you first downs, Case, are there throws that are sticking out to you in your head? There are a few that stick out to me as not like amazing or fantastic, and maybe that's the Trevor Lawrence effect where you kind of watch a game and he has so many dimes that when one isn't, it kind of sticks out to you. That touchdown to Ridley where Ridley's kind of running free towards the back of the end zone, and I think Trevor's got a rusher right in his grill, too, coming up on. He has to loft it up there a little bit. I almost thought he put a little too much touch on it. It almost got deflected as it went to Ridley. But I remember like one or two of those plays versus all of the dimes because there were a bunch of them.
I mean, Casey, you can jump in here too, but I'm going to sit here and tell you like 5 plays right off the rip that I thought Trevor was terrific on, and it is that play. Like, I don't care if there was a little too much air under it. The fact that he made it, go back and look at the early part of that play. He eludes the rush right away. He takes a big hit. He keeps the eyes up enough to find Ridley, which he's missed players like that over the years in Jacksonville. So, and he put it, listen, it doesn't matter that it almost got deflected.
No, he nailed it. It was good. He ended up nailing him. It was a good pass.
And so that one, then there's a 3rd and 8 to Christian Kirk. There's a 4th and 1 to Christian Kirk. There's the run play on a 3rd down that he kept that one alive. There's the throw to Hasty. As you go back and look at that throw where he should have run the football and had Kirk, people said, on wide open, I think, on that play. I think that was the same play, yeah. Then the throw was beautiful. Like, from a throwing standpoint, the throw is beautiful. What I invite people to do on that, if you saw, like, the All-22 or a clip of that, is slow it down and watch how close that comes to hitting the defender's finger. It's just over him. The problem is it's Hasty, a running back who's 5'8", instead of like a 5'11" receiver or a 6' or 6'1" receiver catching that football, because he actually got 2 hands on it. And I don't blame Hasty there, but I think most receivers would catch that. Maybe not most running backs, but most receivers would catch that. So, and no plays in danger, Aaron or Casey. Like, I didn't see one play that was almost picked off in this game, so he's not making the mistake. Could he make a few more plays? Absolutely. But, even Patrick Mahomes and other quarterbacks sit there after a game and say, yeah, we could have made a few more plays.
Yeah, and maybe Trevor feels that way about himself, but I thought the offense did exactly what they needed to do to come away with a solid win here.
Casey, you got any plays that you love out of them or didn't like them? And am I missing a play or a throw like that? Am I giving them too much credit here on these? That I know the numbers weren't great. They're like 208 yards, but add in the 40 whatever rushing yards, and now you got a 250-yard day, the touchdown, and no turnovers.
It wasn't
even turnover-worthy plays, in my opinion.
It wasn't even just the rushing yards, Case. It was how important they were when they came to the Jags on the play, whether they were design rushes or Trev scrambling on 3rd down for a first down. A lot of those runs is exactly what the team needed at the time they got it.
Yeah, I think the runs were big. It seemed like they always came at the right time. And then I think the Hasty play that didn't get made, again, I don't think that's on anybody other than Michael Hasty's just not the tallest dude of all time. But I thought that was a dart. And there was a play to Ingram on the sideline that I don't exactly remember how it played out, but I know it was a big play in the moment. Evan Ingram had a lot of plays, and I think that goes back to just Trevor understanding who's having a big day and feeding Evan Ingram. Like, there's nothing massive on the score sheet for Evan Ingram. Like, the stats ended up okay at the end, but it was like 10 yards, 11 yards, 14 yards. But they needed it each and every time, and I think those two being in rhythm is a big part of this.
I think, too, what people – listen, I've been pushing Trevor and saying that he's been playing really well. Like, I'm a big fan of what he's doing right now because I don't think it's easy to do when your offense is out of sync. Everybody looks at the offense. You go anywhere in the National Football League and you're like, okay, this offense isn't doing what we thought it would do. And you look at the quarterback, and the quarterback most of the time is at least part of the problem or a big part of the problem. I just don't see that right now through these first 4 weeks. That doesn't mean he's been perfect. I just don't see that he's the reason why this offense is clunky in spots. And one reason behind that is that it's clunky is I just don't think he fully trusts everything still right now. And that all stems from the offensive line. We keep saying that, but that can easily throw your rhythm off, your confidence off, just letting it rip. I wouldn't mind letting him or seeing him throw it downfield a little bit more and just give Ridley or somebody else a chance to make a play. Is he being a little too conservative at times? Well, I would say yeah, because there's been 2 fourth down plays this year that he's been sacked on. Well, let it go. Let it go and see if somebody can make a play. Like, I'm cool with some of that kind of criticism, and that's why I don't believe he's playing perfect. I just think when you look at this offense, the QB is not the problem, and I agree with Kasey. The QB is more the reason they won the football game. The defense is a big reason too, but the QB yesterday was the reason they won the football game. If you go back in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially the last 15 years, the quarterbacks that have been lined up here under center probably don't win that game. That's a disappointing loss instead, where they score like less than 20 points. And I'll give you one more thing on Trevor that people don't talk about enough. The dude's tough. He's tough, man. He took some more hits yesterday. He's taken way too many hits right now. I'm concerned about that. He's gotten up slow about 3 times this year already. That wasn't the case last year. It was like 1 or 2 games where he got hit a lot. Well, they're 4 games in, and I can, in my mind, picture 5 or 6 plays that he's been crushed. Sometimes that's just football. And Doug Peterson said it to me today because I asked him about that. Like, what's the level of concern over that? And he said, well, it's like, you know, some of the protection stuff, you're going to have a free runner and you just got to take a hit. Okay, I can deal with that. But not all of these hits are because of that kind of thing. If you go back to the beginning of the year. So it's something to keep an eye on. You got to keep him healthy. They've got to do a better job of protecting him. So then he can take advantage of the throws down the field, which, again, the metrics show he's pretty good at when given the opportunity. It just doesn't look like anybody wants to call a play 25 yards downfield right now because they're not sure what's going to happen if they do. Let's take a break. 904-362-9901. You can call us, but you can also text us. What do you think about the game here in London? A lot of different angles, from Calvin Ridley to Evan Ingram to Chad Muma to Josh Allen. The Jaguars fix all levels of their game enough to get a win over the Atlanta Falcons. Now they stay here for the week and play the Buffalo Bills up next, and that looks like it's going to be a tough one the way the Bills played on Sunday. Brent Friends on ESPN 690, our London coverage, brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny and breezy on this Monday with an isolated shower moving in off the Atlantic. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s and most spots stay dry. And then temperatures will be comfortable tonight, mild in the mid-60s with a mostly clear sky. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine are paying out over $640,000 this month in poker promotions. There will be exciting high-hand specials and no-limit hold'em tournaments all month. Catch Insta Paydays and game day promos at St. Augustine, $300 early bird specials at Orange Park, $500 Fridays at Jacksonville, and much more. Enjoy the best in poker and card games at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Cancer doesn't care, and an increasing number of local families are hearing their child has been diagnosed. There is an urgent need for help.
This is how people lose their houses. This is how people lose their cars. There are mortgage payments made, groceries.
You have to make a choice between putting food on your table and getting your child to treatment. What are you going to choose?
You can help keep these families together during the fight. Donate now to the Child Cancer Fund. Any amount is welcome. Please donate at childcancerfund.org. That's childcancerfund.org.
Many of us enjoy being DIYers. Do you really need a financial advisor for retirement? Or can you just do that yourself too?
I wondered about that.
Well, it depends. Have the Talon Wealth team create a comprehensive financial plan personalized for you at no cost. Then you can compare what you're doing to what's possible with a team of fiduciaries on your side.
Okay.
Schedule now at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Take non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
The NFL is so wild. Some of the metrics and stats coming out on Zach Wilson last night, like outperformed statistically in some categories Patrick Mahomes. I think I saw a tweet that said the first time anybody has done that in Mahomes' NFL and college career.
That's right.
It was Zach Wilson.
The chosen one.
Good for Zach Wilson.
Good for Zach Wilson.
I feel good for him.
Yeah, of course.
They lost.
Look, I always look, it was a close loss. Unfortunately.
So are we counting those?
We are. Have
okay.
you seen the Jets play this year? We're counting all the moral victories.
I've seen the Jags play for 20. I get it. I'm with you.
Listen, I always believed
we
in
used
Zach
to count
Wilson.
Those around here too.
Yeah, exactly. I always believed in Zach Wilson. Happy for the kid.
Oh my no! You wanted Simeon yesterday.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a good game.
We'll get into Rodney Harrison and Zach Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the NFL here in just a little bit. There are a lot of storylines. By the way, a lot of baseball storylines, too, as the baseball regular season is now over. So touch on that just for a moment. But, Mondays, it's all about the Jags, 904-362-9901. Call or text. Brent Martineau here in London. Once again, our London coverage brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, back in the Action Sports Jacks studios. And, well, does that win change anything the way you look at the next couple of weeks, guys? We wondered this, right? Will it change how you see the Jags getting to the bye potentially, because you've got Buffalo, who's very good here in London in 6 days, and then you come back against Indianapolis, who obviously is pretty good and better than anybody thought. And they'll get Jonathan Taylor back. He's due to come off the PUP list on Wednesday. Then after that, it's New Orleans, who has actually struggled to this point, and Pittsburgh, who has struggled even more.
But both road games, though.
How do you look at these next 4 games?
Yeah, I think that the obviously Buffalo is still a very dangerous team. You saw them yesterday. Well, they almost put up 50 on Miami. Not that Miami has a staunch defense or anything like that, but still very high-powered team, high-powered defense, high-powered offense. Indy still kind of dicey. I mean, I don't think this schedule looks any better or worse just after yesterday's game, although I think you're looking at games like Pittsburgh and New Orleans and feeling a little better about it.
It's weird because I think I'm going to answer that. You guys keep talking.
Oh, Case. I wanted to hear that insight from Case. I'm sure it was going to be positive and filled with sunshine and rainbows.
Well, it just we always do this when you lose, and you lose 2 in a row, and you lose the way they did. You're like, oh no, Jags might go 1-4, and I was saying just get to 3-3 after Indianapolis, even if it's 4-4 after the bye. And I guess the point of me asking the question is, I don't know if I see that different. The Jags haven't done enough to say, hey, I know they're a great defense and they can win 13-10 if they need to. They haven't done enough offensively to convince me that it's going to work every week to outscore Buffalo or do what you need to do even against Indy to sweep them. I just feel like there's still a hiccup in there that could come because they haven't given up enough confidence in the first month to say, okay, they're just going to steamroll people. And all you have to do is watch yesterday's action. I mean, the Titans clobbering Cincinnati. You still believe in Cincinnati after they win Monday, and then they go get just pasted against a Tennessee team that nobody can figure out right now. And just the way the NFL is, I'm like, what is going to go differently than what I think it is? And honestly, I could see the Jags beating Buffalo here in London and losing to Indianapolis. Like, I just wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And I still think getting to the bye week, guys, 4-4 is what the Jags need to do. Find 2 wins over the next 4 weeks and then be playing your best football into November and December, which I will preach for the next month, and I have for the last year, that I think Doug Peterson's teams overall have shown a tendency to do that in his time as a head coach in Philly and also last year in Jacksonville. So I think get me to 4-4 by the bye week, and I believe I'm still happy. Now, if you can find a way to 5-3, I'm cool with it.
Now, Case, I know you're kind of probably still have your doubts in your head, but previous to the Atlanta game, tell me if I'm wrong here. You're looking at Atlanta, Buffalo, Indy, New Orleans, Pittsburgh going, can they win 1 or 2? And
before
now,
they played Atlanta?
Yeah. All right, now you're looking at it going, maybe they can take 3 or 4.
Well, here's the deal. They're 3-3, right?
2-2?
Nope, they're going to be 3-3. They'll lose to Buffalo. They'll beat Indy at home. Indy can't win in Jacksonville. So they're 3-3 when they go to play New Orleans. And that's when I think we'll find out if this team's for real or not. The Saints are no good, but it's on the road, and it's Thursday night.
Are the Saints no good, or do they need time to get better?
Saints are no good. Seen 4 weeks of it. Saints are no good.
Okay.
Trust me. I'm an expert in Derek Carr. That's one thing I'm an expert in. The Saints are no good. So there's that. Pittsburgh's no good. Kenny Pickett, small hands, like them. They're not any good. So those are 2 games where on paper you are better, but they're on the road. One's on a short week. I get it, that whole thing. So the way I look at it is they're 3-3 because I don't think there's a chance they can beat Buffalo. Indy can't win here. They need to find a way to steal both of those 2 on the road. At a bare minimum 1, you lose them both, I think it's over. But that's when we're really going to find out about them. That 2-game stretch, can they get to 5-3 is my question.
Yeah, it'd be something if they get to 5-3. I think that'd be sitting pretty. I looked it up today. Jags have actually been 2-2 more times in my 15 years here than I ever thought. Like, it's crazy. I didn't think, I was looking it up because I was like, there's no way they're going to like that. And they actually have been, guys. I counted 7 times since 2008 the Jags have been 2-2.
Wow.
Season. But getting through that third win is trickier. And there have been times they've started 3-2 or 3-1, obviously in 2018. But that third win takes usually a little bit longer to get. So how quickly can they get ahead of the chains in the win-loss column, if you will? I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Let's get to Steven on the line, 904-362-9901. It's a reaction or overreaction Monday as the Jags get the win, which seems like 2 days ago now here in London, but they did get the W over the Falcons 23-7, which, by the way, a 23-7 win is pretty convincing in the NFL, even if they didn't light up the scoreboard for 30-plus. Steven, what's happening?
Hey, not too much. How you guys doing today?
What's up, Steve?
Hey, not too much. I'm happy for the defense. I'm happy for Josh Allen. You got 6 sacks. You're tied for third with T.J. Watt and Khalil Mack, who happened to get all 6 in one game. The secondary has given us 9 turnovers in four weeks. I'm happy about that. The big thing is they had 9 pass breakups yesterday, which is a good thing. The offense, I'm still waiting for to click. Cam coming back, they're more than likely going to put Walker Little in at left guard and Cam at left tackle. Even though I'm going to die on the sword, I still think Walker Little's a better left tackle than Cam. But hopefully the left side will be shored up, and we still have to figure out the right side because for what we're paying him, Sheriff ain't playing it. Harrison had a pretty decent game, but this interior line is just it's collapsing the pocket for Trevor, and he has to get outside. But I think if we ran a little more play action, get him throwing on the run, which he's really good at, I think that'll kind of clean up some things, just get him more on a rhythm. So I'm just hoping some things get cleared up, and I will be upset from here on in until they fix it. 4th and 1, put Trevor under center. Either he does it himself, or you let ETN or Bigsby just run it straight up the middle. No more of in the gun on 4th and 1 or 4th and inches. I'm getting tired of seeing that.
Steven, thanks for the call, man. It'll be interesting to see how the Jags address their short yardage situations especially, and we'll get to that part coming up throughout the show because that is one of 2 major issues on offense in my opinion. Really, there's 3. I'll give them to you now, but we'll talk about the other 2 in just a bit because I want to go here first. The 3rd and 4th and short stuff is a legitimate issue and has been since Doug took over. And I'm not blaming Doug. I'm just giving you a time frame, but maybe we should blame Doug. I'm just giving you a time frame of since it's when it's been a problem. And 3rd down conversions, which wasn't a problem last year, continues to be a bit of a problem for the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. And the other problem, guys, and I did research on this today, is starting fast. Now, they got out to a 17-0 lead. They did what they had to do by getting a touchdown early and a 56-yard McManus field goal. So that counts as starting fast. But when I say starting fast, I mean the first drive of the game. Why can't the Jags score on the first drive of the game? It's fascinating. Over the 23 games, Doug Peterson has been the head coach, an offensive guy where you think the script would really play out in his favor. The Jags have had 122 plays, 568 yards. They're averaging like 24 yards a drive over those 23 games on the opening possession, whether they get the ball first or they get the ball second. And they've only scored 25 total points in 23 games. Like, if you look at good teams, I'm not saying it's a 100% rate, but it's a high rate that they get down the field and score, field goal or touchdown. And the Jags have had 5 turnovers in that stretch on their opening possession. They've turned it over twice on downs, so it's really like 7 turnovers. And the rest of them have been punts. I think it's 11 punts. But there are so many situations where the Jags go like I'll just read you a couple. 2 plays, 4 yards. 3 plays, 6 yards. 3 plays, 9 yards. 3 plays, 1 yard. Let me get you to the fun one. 3 plays, -7 yards. 3 plays, 8 yards. This is an offense that can move. There's hardly any 3-and-outs the last 3 weeks. I think there's a combined 3 of them. Yet to start the game, what you practice all week, what you script and game plan, doesn't seem to work for this football team. And, guys, I really don't get why.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's an easy reason or easy excuse. Do you think it's just trend coincidence and it'll work itself out? Or do you think there's something bigger here we just don't see yet?
Kasey, there was a thought last year that Trevor struggled early in games. He threw it high, right? Or maybe it was just a little too fired up, however you want to say. But there was a little bit of that going around. And you know what? There were some numbers to back that up. Well, the second half of last year, you saw that stop and slow down. So it looked like it was more just a comfortability thing in the offense and confidence, because once he found his confidence, you didn't see that as much. And I'm not seeing that here either. I'm not seeing Trevor throw it high and missing guys. This is just, for whatever reason, they're not executing. And maybe it's a throw here or there by Trevor, but maybe it's a drop, or maybe it's a just behind the sticks or a penalty or whatever it is. Like, it's just a wild thing. I mean, this is an offensive team, an offensive coach with a franchise quarterback that, again, I'll continue to say this, they move the ball. They move the ball even when they don't score points. Yet they have 25 total points. 25 total points, 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, 2 extra points, and a field goal in 23 games starting off the game. I mean, I bet that number makes Doug Peterson throw up.
Yeah, and, I feel like the sample size is rather large, boys. I think they just can't do it. I think that's just where we are.
That's large.
Yeah, but, you got the diagnosis, but you got to, why?
They just can't do it. Like, they just got to punt on first down and call it.
That's the oddest thing. Punt on first down. That's very funny. It sounds like something the Jets should do.
It really is. What I haven't looked up, and maybe somebody can find this, because I got to be honest with you, I did a lot of work on this today, and I doubt I'm doing the work on the rest of the teams. Like, what's the average for the league? Like, how often do people score on their first drives? The bottom line is, I bet the Jags are one of the worst in the NFL. You can take the worst offenses over the last 2 years. There's no way they're not near the bottom of the league in that. 25 points is just crazy to me. And I'm not even telling you the whole story, because there are many times, well, not many, but there are at least a handful of times where they've actually started at like the 45-yard line, midfield, the opponent's 45 because of a turnover or a good field position. Like, they've actually been in good situations and still can't move the ball. Just fast. It just, I know they're looking at this. Like, they've got to have these numbers too. But they've got to figure that out, because this goes back to the starting fast stuff and taking the lead and the dictating play, and you're an offensive identity. Like, that's where I'm at with this football team. And I think they've got to figure that out still. And it's just a little bit of a deep dive problem that isn't coming off necessarily yesterday's game. It didn't work yesterday, but they ended up taking the lead yesterday. So that was good anyway. They found a way to get the lead. But I'm just telling you, this is going to be a stat that keeps creeping up on the Jags if they don't find a way to figure it. Jags Money, by the way, says offense not breaking 20 points in 3 straight weeks is 100% a concern, and anyone saying it isn't hasn't been watching. And I'm a little bit a mixed bag on that, but you're right. Less than 20 points by the offense in 3 straight weeks is alarming as a standalone stat. And, Aaron, the thing that I'm not overly concerned about is the quarterback is playing well, in my opinion. And there are other examples of the Jags moving the football, like the 3 total 3-and-outs in those 3 weeks. They just got to button up like 1 or 2 more plays, and I think that changes everything. Like, they could have easily scored 34 points yesterday if they just make a play or 2, including that 3rd or 4th and 1 when they were inside the red zone.
And it's not hard to believe those statements, but at some point, and I think Doug kind of echoed this a week or 2 back, the clock starts to run out a little bit. And here we go into week 5. You are already 1/4 of the way into the season. 25% is gone. And now, you got to start putting it on tape. So you could be capable of all of it, but until you put it on the field, it's not going to be worth much.
Well, this is what I say about things like that. To me, it's a thing until it's not a thing. And the only way it's not a thing is you make it not a thing. Now, I also would say I'm not sure time runs out on it, because they're going to play more football games, and they're going to have chances to fix it. The thing is, can they fix it? And I don't know what it is. I really don't. Like, re-script it, do a different script, go over it a 3rd or 4th or 5th time in practice. Like, I do not know the answer. And like I said this to Christian Kirk on Saturday when I talked to him, practice is an important thing, and these guys, coaches and players, buy into it. I've always kind of like, how much do they really practice? Like, they're pros, they're game planning. Is it a hard practice? Well, a hard practice doesn't mean a good practice. And I asked him, I said, hey, it's one thing to fix it on the practice field, but sooner or later you got to fix whatever's not going right on the game field. And I bet they're repping this stuff, but they just haven't been able to fix some of these problems, including another issue or 2 that we're going to talk about, 3rd down conversions and the short yardage game. But guess what? I don't want it to be lost that the Jags did win 23-7. So they got that going for them.
Sure.
And they can fix it in a win rather than being 1-3. And to me, that was a massive win yesterday for the team and to get them back on track. And now we'll see. When are they going to erupt? Is this the week that they erupt? Because it's going to happen. I'm convinced they are going to erupt on offense sooner or later. Maybe it's this week in London against the Buffalo Bills. Let's take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. We're back after this. 904-362-9901. Send us a text. Your thoughts on the game. We're talking a lot of Jags here on a Monday.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
The National Youth Advocate Program is now providing unique enhanced foster care services to the St. Johns County area to meet the needs of older youth and adolescents with emotional and behavioral challenges and those with specialized medical needs. For more information, please call 904-443-9240.
Hey, it's Brian Middleton, and I made the choice to do something about my weight. I chose Awaken 180 weight loss. In only 5 weeks, I've already dropped 28.6 pounds. Life-changing results in just over a month. What's stopping you? Awaken180weightloss.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at BrentASJacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Hey, the Jags are actually having their off day today. Many of the play at the Fulham match, which is taking place right now against Chelsea. So a big match, sold-out crowd there at Craven Cottage. Stuart Weber actually is over there, and he'll have a report from there tonight on the TV side on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But they're losing 2-0 to your team, right, Kasey?
Yes, that is correct.
Chelsea's your team.
Yeah, the boys have
Chelsea.
scored for the first time in the season so far. They've scored twice, so that's very exciting. They will still lose, but this is
yeah,
good
they
stuff.
scored. They scored twice in like 80 seconds, I think,
Yes.
which is like maybe some kind of soccer record.
It's not, but it was cool.
Twice in 82 seconds.
It was nice. The guy they paid like
no, it's not cool if you're a Fulham fan.
That's right.
They paid like $8 billion for this dude, and he finally scored for the first time. It was pretty awesome. And then this one dude that was hurt came back and scored right away. So things are going well for the Blues until the second half when they lose.
Yeah. So it's the Blues versus the Whites, right?
I don't. Sure.
Is that Fulham?
I mean, they wear white jerseys.
I'm pretty sure that is.
Yeah.
COY. Hashtag COY for Fulham. Don't ask me. I'm just like a casual observer.
Yeah, we're not going to ask you. We just think you're saying
but it is
things
cool
right
going
now.
there. Yeah. No, I'm saying like people know. The real people know.
Oh.
They got another match on Saturday. Might venture over to that one. Let's get to South Beach, Gary. 70-pointer, then a 20-point lopsided loss. Oh, the NFL is goofy, South Beach, Gary.
That was just a butt kicking. No way to describe it. But the good news is, guys, they're coming home to play the Giants on a short week and then the Panthers.
Oh, lucky
so
them.
To get well.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent. I gotta wait Saturday to see my Orioles. That makes me depressed. But loving it that they're in the postseason. But let me ask you about the Ryder Cup and the Zach Johnson picks. I thought it was awful. I mean, JT and Spieth are good players, but they haven't played good golf the last year and a half. Why not have Keegan Bradley and Glover on the team? I mean, Keegan Bradley is a bulldog when in those match play. I thought too much of a buddy system. If you're a buddy with the captain, you get chosen instead of taking the 12 best golfers.
Brent, comment?
Yeah, South Beach, Gary, appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's an interesting call. The U.S. can never figure it out. This goes in a bunch of different ways. When it comes to the team golf aspect, they made a nice run. I give them credit for trying to make a run after just getting their butt whooped. Some great drama with the hat stuff. And you know, listen, Europe's just better at this stuff. But I don't mind what Gary's saying there, Kasey. Give me the grinder, the guy that wants to punch in the face, rather than the better golfer. And like, I take even a guy like Billy Horschel, who I think it was the last time around he was left off the team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a dude that will just grind it out and beat you. Is he going to win every stroke play tournament? Probably not. Is he better than the Justin Thomases of the world and Jordan Spieth when they're going well? No, probably not. But I don't mind what Gary says there. Like the Lucas Glovers, I don't know. Like, do I want a guy that's had putting problems on the Ryder Cup team? I could see why you wouldn't. Keegan Bradley was playing well, and he's a dog. Like, you do need a little bit of that. You know, guys like Rory have struggled over the years. Now, he didn't this past weekend, but he has struggled. It's not only the superstar players that play well. It's often like the Francisco Molinaris that just want to shove it up, you know what, and get it done. So they got to figure it out, Kasey. But, man, they're screwed for the next – I don't know, 4, 6, 8 years. I mean, Europe's going to be good for a while.
Well, the good news is they'll win the President's Cup, so that's fine. But, yeah, Brent, the problem was JT and Jordan had no business being on the team. Like, I get it. They're, like, all-timers. That's fine. They're playing horrible, both of them. And then you pair them together, which made no sense. I know they're boys, whatever. But that was just a debacle. And they had really no shot from the beginning, so there is that part of it. But JT, if his name was not Justin Thomas, if it was like Logan Thomas, he wouldn't have been on the team. That's just as simple as it is.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I don't know, man. It's just it was tough to watch. It was really tough to watch. And the European team is kind of likable, but not likable enough for me to want to watch them celebrate. Like I still don't like it. It bothered the heck out of me. The United States shouldn't be that bad. Maybe we should start reaching into Canada and other places and see if we should get more countries involved if we're going to play like this.
You talking like North America?
Not good.
Like forming a North American team?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to upset. I'm not telling you to do. I'm just joking about that part. But we do have to. It's okay to find different players that you think are going to play well in the Ryder Cup, not play well because they're good golfers. because it's just a totally different event. I'm okay with the guys that earned it. Then after that, go get me some Bulldogs, man, that want to just kick your ass. I don't know if we have enough of those on Team USA. At least this time we didn't. Europe seemed to have plenty of them. All right, back to some football talk. 4 o'clock hour coming up next from London to Jacksonville on ESPN 690.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience used for you with Car Bravo online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
The National Youth Advocate Program is now providing unique enhanced foster care services to the St. Johns County area to meet the needs of older youth and adolescents with emotional and behavioral challenges and those with specialized medical needs. For more information, please call 904-443-9240.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. Fantasy Card Breaks.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770 STOP in Louisiana. Visit MDGamblingHelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit GamblingHelpMA.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., it's Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, and check us out right here on ESPN 690.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Grizzly superstar John Morant will be permitted to practice and travel with the team while serving his 25-game suspension to start the season for conduct detrimental to the NBA. He was suspended for posing with a handgun in a live stream video May 13th, less than 2 months after an 8-game suspension for displaying a handgun in a separate live stream video. One big name absent from 76ers Media Day today, James Harden. GM Daryl Morey said Harden still wants to be traded. They're working with his reps to resolve that in the best way possible for everyone. What's next for Philly and Harden? ESPN NBA reporter Tim Bontemps.
Trying to coax him back into the fold, and that's really been the message, not only today, but really for the past few weeks from the Sixers. They want James Harden to be part of their team. They don't want to trade him, and the message from the Sixers is very clear. We are better with James Harden. We want him on the court, and we want to be back with the team. The question now, though, is when will James Harden show up? And as of right now, there's no clear answer when that will be.
NFL Bears coach Matt Eberflus says receiver Chase Claypool will remain away from the team, won't play Thursday night against Washington after being a healthy Week 4 scratch.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, the MLB playoffs are here, and I'm going to tell you all the storylines you should be paying attention to. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour we go. From London to Jacksonville, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter. Jags moved hotels last night. They had a day off today, get treatment, whatever they need to do. Tomorrow they go back to work. Obviously a lot of film study and more treatment. There will be no availability for the players tomorrow. So from our standpoint, we won't see them again until Wednesday, and then that's when it turns back into a normal week. The Buffalo Bills are coming to town, and that game will be at Tottenham on Sunday. Same schedule of events, at least from our standpoint. You can check out Countdown to Kickoff at 8:30 in the morning on Fox 30, and 9:30 is kickoff on Fox 30 locally. So you'll be able to see the game just like you did yesterday. And, well, I saw a lot of people saw the game because the ratings were pretty darn high for breakfast with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you kind of like that aspect of it? I'm not asking if you like the London game. I understand for the people that we talk to every day, that's like not even worth asking the question because I get people are bothered by this game. So I won't do that and disrespect anybody that listens. I know where you stand. I get it. I do have some bad news for you. It ain't changing. Like, it's not changing. My conversation with Mayor Donna Deegan, my conversation with Shad Khan, if I leave this weekend with one thought that I think I know is that this game is not changing. Like, they are going to play this game here, and they probably will play 2 games.
Interesting that
the secondary being an away game.
Interesting you say that, juxtaposed against the backdrop of the negotiations around the new stadium and the desire for people to have those London games as part of the negotiation. For you to say that the mayor is giving her full-throated support of these London games to continue kind of shows you where everyone's head's at in the process.
Yeah, well, okay, since we got here, let's just finish that thought. I mean, do you guys, how much of a piece do you think it should be, would be, could be in the negotiations? And then if nobody caught it, I did ask the mayor in my interview with her Saturday, which we're playing a lot of tomorrow on Action News Jacks. By the way, 6 o'clock we'll have most of the story, and a lot of it's stadium-centric, also a little business in London, Jacksonville as well, but that's 6 o'clock tomorrow night on Action News Jacks. What do you think? Should it be? Would it be? Could it be part of the leverage in stadium talks?
I don't know that it should be. I guess it could be. I mean, anything is leverage in anybody's negotiation as long as you have power to affect the change. I just and you actually corrected me last time. I went in thinking weeks ago that it wouldn't be up to the Jaguars to be able to affect change there. I just figured it would be a league issue where the league kind of mandates who goes where. But it sounds like that's not the case. So, I mean, if the Jaguars are in control of playing those games in London, then why not have them up for negotiation?
Kasey, what do you think?
I don't know. I think does
that mean you don't care?
No, I care. I don't know how to word it, I guess. Like, if you're going to spend $1 billion or $2 billion on the stadium, maybe play all the home games in Jacksonville.
But isn't everyone eventually, or isn't it the momentum moving towards everyone playing a game somewhere in Europe or South America, Central America, or something.
Every season, you're saying?
I don't know. I'm asking, I guess.
Say that again.
Isn't it moving towards most of these teams, if not every one of these teams, finding a game to play either overseas in Europe or South America, Central America? Like, isn't the NFL trying to export this product?
I think, I think to a degree, and I think that's where the Jags actually are ahead of the game. Now, again, take everybody's thoughts out of this. If you look at it from an NFL standpoint, the Shield standpoint, 32 owner standpoint, and what do you want to do as an owner of a business? Well, you want to get your name out there, your brand out there. What does the NFL want to do? They want to get their brand out there. This is a very United States-centric product. It's a saturated market, has been for probably a decade. They still continue to perform well. But where's the growth in the United States happening? It's already huge. It's like the biggest thing we got going. Every TV program, the amount of interest, the advertising, the Super Bowl, the this or that. So the way to do it is to go to Canada, go to Mexico, go to Germany, go to London, and expand the product, expand the eyeballs. The other sports have done it. Golf does it. Tennis does it. Basketball does it. Baseball does it. Hockey does it. The NFL hasn't done it until recently. But the Jags actually have developed the earliest footprint over here. Now, what you're asking is, the simple answer is yes. Other owners, other teams want to do it. What the caveat there is, do they want to do it at the expense of a home game?
Oh, I'm sure nobody does.
In some of the negotiations in places like Buffalo with a new stadium, and when you're getting all the input and money involved in that, and maybe Nashville, they might be. That's where this becomes a little bit of a different story. Could you use it from a leverage standpoint? But I don't know what that part looks like. I can tell you this, in conversations this weekend with Mayor Deegan and also Shad Khan, there is nothing where I left the conversations and said, well, there's a good chance that they're not playing in London in 2029 or 2030 or 2028. No, I think this is a part of it, and I think Shad obviously wants it to happen. I think that's apparent. And honestly, I think political leaders in Jacksonville see the benefit of it happening, from putting Jacksonville on a global map to the direct flight that they're pushing for right now, to the business that it involves. And again, I know from a football fan standpoint, you're like, Brent, shut up. Who cares about any of that? Well, they do care about some of that. I'm just telling you, whether you like it or not, they care about that. So I think this game isn't going anywhere. And I honestly don't even believe it's going to be used in the negotiation to get leverage in the stadium deal. Now, it could be. I could be wrong about that, but my early read on it is I doubt it.
Well,
I think the city sees benefits.
If it's going to be used to gain leverage, it sounds like the city is not doing a good job of it, already committing to the fact that these happen and they're good for the city. If they're going to use it for some leverage, she should be crying foul. She should be like, oh, this hurts to even watch. I wish we could get it back.
I would also like to change my answer. To the earlier point, Brent, I felt like I had to say something. I don't care. They can play football in London for a home game.
Get him, Case.
I felt on the spot. I didn't know what to do, Brent. I panicked. I said whatever I said.
Love it.
True feelings. I really don't care. Like, if you're going to take a home game, just take it in September.
Look at you, 26 years old. You are growing, Case.
Like, it doesn't – and I get that, like, everyone feels not the way I feel. So, like,
that's okay.
Don't come after me or do if you want. I don't really care. I won't
go after
reply.
Kasey. It's fine.
But, like, it just doesn't – it doesn't impact me the way that other people get really bent out of shape about it. Like, it's hot as heck in September. If you're going to take one, take it in September. Now, you take it in December or, like, November, I'm going to be like, hold on now a second. It's actually cool for the 1 month of the year. So you take it in September, sure, that's fine.
You also rather give up an early game in the year than a later game in the year where it might count a little bit.
Exactly. Take it, this where it is on the schedule, I think is solid. Week 4, you don't really know anything yet. I mean, we think we know, you don't know. And what? It was Atlanta.
Why don't we give them like the last preseason game? It's not like most of the fans out there know who the starters are anyway.
Just be like, all right, football.
Just give them football.
Well, people have said that. They've said that. They've talked about. I mean, the fans want that. Like, hey, if you're going to give them something, give them that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the Jags did learn their lesson by putting San Francisco and Dallas over here early on. Now, I say the Jags. I mean, the league did that, and the Jags kind of went along with it or had to or couldn't fight it. I don't really know the behind-the-scenes stuff. But I think since then you've seen like the Colts and Texans and in this
Beautiful.
case Atlanta, those aren't going to be like the major draws of a home schedule. Like obviously they protected Cincinnati, right, at home. They protected Kansas City at home. No doubt the league or London would have loved to put them over here.
Sure.
But they didn't. And the Bills is a totally different animal because it's a Jags away game. So, like, there's no control at all there. And again, there are benefits this week for the Jags playing the Bills. I'm not going to go crazy about that because I've said it before. I don't know if there's an advantage to anybody playing over here. I think you just got to play better than the other team. But you can make something up or make yourself believe that there is an advantage. You don't have to play in Buffalo, and you don't have to play in Buffalo in December on Sunday. And you're already over here for a week well acclimated while Buffalo has to try to get acclimated. So, again, you'll hear more of my interview with Mayor Donna Deegan tomorrow night on Action News Jax at 6 o'clock. But the good news here is as much as I don't believe that London is going away, I also very much believe after this weekend of conversations that this stadium is going to get done in some way, shape, or form. And I think you'll hear that even from the mayor tomorrow night. So as I was starting this conversation, I just asked you in general, guys, do you like waking up early to football? Like, is that part of it at least a cool little different experience?
It's legit my favorite part of the whole thing. Getting up, my kids get me up early, so fine. But the fact that I get up at like 6 on a Sunday, and I've only got like an hour before all the real pregames start to turn on in earnest. Man, it's great to have football in the morning.
I mean, it's less time to bet, which I'm not super excited about because I get up at like 9 and they're playing at 9:30. I got to go get some breakfast. So now it's like 9:15. I'm scrambling. Next thing you know, some guy's prop I don't want, I had to take. So that part I don't love. And the answer is get up earlier, won't do it, not going to do it, especially if the Jags aren't playing. Jags are playing, I get up at 9. Anybody else, best I can do is 9:15. I'm missing the first 2 drives because I'm going to get breakfast. Best I can do.
Cool.
The other part of this that I wanted to ask you guys about, the Toy Story broadcast. I saw some of the tweets about it.
What?
And there's some fun stuff, Oh, you didn't like it? I actually thought some of the things that I saw were cool. Now, I didn't watch it. So, and I heard there were some bugs in it and obviously a first-time thing. I think what people are actually fascinated by is the technology behind it. Like, they put the chips in the shoulder pads, and it was, like, in sync with what these guys were doing on the field. Like, did you see some of those plays matched up with the Toy Story part?
Yeah.
It was fantastic technology.
No, sorry, guys. Virtual and augmented reality has been around for decades. It's not new. No big deal. I wanted to see the characters playing football.
New in sports.
Yeah. I didn't want to see, like, football icon guys playing football. I wanted to see, like, Woody lining up with Buzz at center and all that, and I didn't get any of that whatsoever. I think they could actually go way further next time around.
That's actually not a bad point. That would have been cool if it was Woody and
Yeah.
Buzz. I'm not going to lie. I guess I kind of thought that's what we were getting, but instead we got the little characters, which was fine.
That's
but
fine.
I thought it was dope. Like, yeah, they had some problems in the beginning. They couldn't figure out how to spot the football. That was their biggest problem. The claw just wouldn't put the ball down, and it was a mess. They had to go to the wide shot of Booger McFarland. It was just a disaster.
I'll say this, man. I showed it to my kid, who I thought was going to be all in, and he couldn't care less.
Really?
He was like, all right, let's turn the real football back on.
So I actually, my favorite part about
That's
it
wild.
had nothing to do with the toys, but it had to do with the camera shot they used. Basically, the whole game, I guess the camera shot, if you will, the whole game was shot from like behind the quarterback. So you saw everything develop.
Yeah.
So it was about a play behind. So I'd watch it, the real play, from like as if you're in the stands,
Then
in
you
the
go
press
study
box, if
the
you will.
Toy Story film, yeah.
But then when they go to the Toy Story film, I'm like, okay, I see who's open, or at least who I think is open.
Yeah.
This toy looks open. I don't know which toy it is. I don't know who it is. Throw it to that toy.
Okay, but tell me how cool it would have been if, like, Doug's halftime interview trotting to the locker room, he gets stopped on the field, but he's Mr. Potato Head.
That would have been awesome.
And
I
he's-
would have been in favor.
And he's given the Doug thing on the interview, except they've got, the voice changer and it's the Potato Head voice. Like, all that would have been fantastic.
It would have. I agree.
I can help out there. They can give me a call.
So do you think you couldn't do all that stuff in real time? So maybe show it as like a replay game in Toy Story fashion, the way you're doing it?
I do think they could do it in near real time just as much as they did this. I mean, the reality is just because the illustrations would look different doesn't mean that it would take longer to do. As long as you preload the illustrations, whether they're small little football guys or the Toy Story animations, it's still animation reacting to these trackers.
Well, wouldn't they have ran out of toys? Like, you can't have Woody on both teams.
Yeah, you just have to make up different toys. Like, give the offensive line one toy that, like, maybe the offensive line are all the green alien guys, right?
Oh, that's
you
not
got
bad.
enough guys to do wide receivers and running back and quarterback. You're fine.
Yeah, but you'd have, like, all the kids rooting for the team Woody's on. Be Woody against
And then I
Buzz.
guess defense.
They're supposed to be friends now.
You have to make everyone Zurg on defense.
See, then it's just, it gets confusing.
What if you
know
add
I'm
a couple of movies to it then, Disney? Why don't you stop being so cheap? Give us a couple of options here.
Well, because
Get
then
some
how
Little Mermaid out in the secondary.
No, how did the Little Mermaid get in Andy's room?
Because they're all part of the Disney family.
That's
how did the
not how this
Jaguars get to
works.
London? They took a plane.
They would have to be the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse game then, because then you can use everybody.
I'm
but
okay
you
though.
can't.
I'm okay with that.
You can't put a full-size Ariel in Andy's room, and they would all fall down. It'd be a pretty boring game overall.
Fair enough. Fair
You'd
enough.
have to do the Bugs Life bugs.
How about the
Maybe.
Jags? How about the Jags celebration? That was pretty good stuff.
That was fun.
It's good.
In Andy's room.
They were in. They must have heard the broadcast was on after the
They were all
8,000
in.
interviews
Yeah.
they had to do to play during the game. Holy cow. Every player you've ever seen on either team. Who's your favorite toy? Brandon McManus is like, I don't know, bro. I just want to kick. Like, I don't know why you're interviewing me.
It does feel like they're trying a
is
little
that
bit
what they
too
did?
hard. Yeah, they're trying a little bit too hard to make as much kid-friendly content as humanly possible. Meanwhile, my kid's only interested in seeing people get slimed, so just do that for like an hour.
Yeah, you know what's fascinating to me is first of all, where did you even watch it?
Disney
Like,
Plus.
where was it?
ESPN Plus.
Well, ESPN Plus
Okay,
had
so
the
it was
game.
part of the ESPN Plus package.
It was the Toy Story
Yeah.
thing on ESPN Plus. I saw it on Disney Plus.
I saw it on ESPN Plus. It was on both.
Yeah, I was
so
watching
it's
the
easily
game.
accessible if you know how to find that.
Yeah, you would have struggled, but everybody else did fine.
Poor Brent. Poor Brent.
Well, we wanted people watching on Fox 30. Okay, so
That's right.
we definitely wanted that. I just tweeted this, guys. I know you're going to love this, Kasey, but I put Toy Story greater than signed Taylor Swift.
What? I'm fine with that. Toy Story's goated.
Better than Taylor Swift, huh?
Yeah, I don't.
All right.
Here's the thing. I don't really care about Taylor Swift, but the
Lies.
fact that it annoys you and the fact that it annoys Amanda makes me all in. Like, I don't care. Don't care.
See,
Don't
I
listen
like
to the
Amanda even
songs.
more now.
Don't know none of. I know the old Taylor Swift. I know about the teardrops on her guitar. All right, I remember that. That was a classic. I remember why she had to pull the first album and re-record it. Yeah, some of you all don't know about that, but there was a whole controversy. I'm in on that. I don't know about new Taylor Swift, but it makes some of y'all so mad
really
that I'm
does.
all in. All in, Brent. Don't care at all, but I'm all in, and I love it.
That's funny. Well, anyway, I thought it was an interesting. The Nickelodeon stuff and the Toy Story things have been pretty interesting. I did like the Slinky Dog first down marker after a penalty. That was pretty good.
Bro, never mind.
No?
Nope.
You just bailed.
I bailed.
Pulled that ejector
lever. Yep, because I know he didn't see it because he didn't watch the broadcast.
Okay.
So there's
That's
no point
right,
to
he
say,
was
did you
working.
see it because you
Okay.
didn't see
No.
it.
I just saw a tweet of it. I told you that.
But to the point, you mentioned Slinky Dog. Now, there's an example. Even Trev was like, oh, you mean I'm not a character? I was kind of hoping I was going to be the Slinky Dog.
Yeah,
What
but
do
he
they
couldn't
do
have
next? Will be what are they going to do next and to try to enhance this? Because I tell you what, they are now going after the younger audience, like the younger audience. And one thing this whole Taylor Swift thing has done is the female audience is all in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, for sure.
On the NFL.
Totally.
And buying tickets and going anywhere that Taylor Swift goes. So I don't know if that's a long-lasting thing. And by the way, I think this is like one of the best-kept secrets of the National Football League and their success is the amount of women that watch the NFL. I believe, I don't know exactly the numbers, but it's increased like tenfold over the years, but it's probably way more than any other main sport with female viewers. Right? So it's already got a good audience, and now it's just growing.
This isn't like a long-term solution for the NFL with women. Like, once the story is done, once their love tryst, their whirlwind romance has concluded, that'll be the exit sign for all these fair-weathered female friends.
Yeah, but you know this is in our business, Aaron, sampling is important. So they're at least getting eyeballs from people that didn't have eyeballs on the sport before. So if it lasts a month, it was at least free advertising probably to a different demographic, like a younger female audience.
Yeah, I would say the advertising doesn't matter as much as the jersey sales matter, because at least you had dollar signs off the jersey sales. One more thing about the animated Toy Story game that I hated, Case, is that it was kind of like watching someone else play a video game on YouTube. You ever watch those channels of kids playing games? It was kind of like what I felt like I was watching. Like, they made it look like a video game. I'd much rather, I think if I was a kid, certainly as an adult watching a kid's product, I would much rather see augmented reality, the real like video of the game, but then they overlay like fire on the football as it flies through the air, or as the running back's about to get the pass, they pause the video and charge him up like he just powered up or leveled up. But augmented reality, much more so than virtual reality to me.
We'll take a break, come back, talk more football instead of Toy Story and Taylor Swift, what happens around the NFL and with the Jaguars, and a couple of players that I don't think we're talking enough about. That story coming up next. Brent Friends on ESPN 690, our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Your Monday's breezy again with partly to mostly sunny skies and an isolated shower possible south of I-10. High temperatures make the mid-80s. Tonight's comfortable and mostly clear with temperatures down to the mid-60s overnight. Then Tuesday's very similar again, partly sunny and breezy again with highs in the 80s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
The World Poker Tour will be at Best Bet Jacksonville from October 26th through November 14th. This exciting tournament series will feature 14 poker tournaments, including Event 1, $200,000 guarantee, Event 6, $300,000 guarantee, and the $1 million guaranteed main event. Don't miss out on the World Poker Tour Championship. Satellites are going on now. Visit bestbetjax.com for more information. That's bestbetjax.com.
Koala Insulation. Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. We count on our knees for everything, from walking to working out and playing sports. Knee pain can be the result of aging, arthritis, athletic activities, and injuries. Obesity is also a factor for knee pain due to the increased stress placed on the joint and can aggravate the symptoms of osteoarthritis. However, exercise and weight loss can delay symptoms related to osteoarthritis. Being physically active boosts the health of cartilage tissue. People with joint pain can benefit from activities such as water aerobics, which puts less stress on the knee. The orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or to learn more, go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
The downsides to a 401k are limited investment options, what we'll find, and nothing against anybody who's doing it. Listen, if I wasn't an investment advisor, I might even be doing the same thing, but lots of target date funds. We don't like the target date funds because they only take into consideration the date. They don't take into consideration anything else. I think they give investors in retirement plans a false sense of security.
More at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. How's the weather, boys, back in Jacksonville today?
Not bad.
I don't know.
That's not bad. I think it's going to be a high of the mid-80s.
It's going to be. The day's over. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, 4:30. It was a little wet this past weekend, Brent. You didn't miss much.
Did it rain?
It was just a little wet.
Rained a lot last week. Yeah, last week even before we left, it rained a lot.
That was threatening for most of the weekend.
We had another good night of high school football, by the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had a good night of high school football. You can check out the Blitz Scoreboard Show on our YouTube channel, Action Sports Jacks, plus the Friday Night Blitz. So we've had some terrific nights of high school football over the last few weeks. A lot of close endings. We've been able to show you live on our Blitz Scoreboard Show, which is always presented by Baker Sports, Savoy's House of Cards, and Nimnick Buick GMC. Hope you can catch it this Friday as well, 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock. And we're into week 7 of the high school football season. Brent Martineau here in London. Our London coverage brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts in the Action Sports Jacks studios. I want to get to a couple of players that I thought made a difference, plus those topics of short yardage, which we're going to talk about, and also third down conversions. And let's hit short yardage right now, guys, in conjunction with this Jaguars offensive line. The offensive line is still leaky, which is proving Kasey to be right, that they are just not good. Now, Aaron, some of your favorite metrics today, PFF will tell us that there were 0 pressures for Ronnie Harrison. I think 0 pressures for Brandon Sheriff. I got to believe Walker Little played well. I didn't see anything on Shatley and Fortner. But the bottom line is it still doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like they've fixed it. It's not a turnstile, but it wasn't good enough, and I'm seeing Trevor Lawrence get hit way too much. I don't think they trust it. I don't think they can get anything developed. Everybody's like, where's the vertical pass game? Where's the vertical pass game? Well, why are you going to sit your franchise quarterback there if you can't let 3 seconds go by to let a guy run down the field? They did a couple of them. Christian Kirk came across a couple of different times on some longer routes, but the other long stuff is being created by Trevor as he is escaping pressure. How disappointing was the offensive line yesterday? I'll start with you, Mr. Negative offensive line guy, Kasey.
I mean, they're not good, Brent. It's just They told you how good they thought they were. They already benched their left guard for another one, so that should tell you something. Blake Hance is getting reps. I know mostly as like an extension of the offensive line, but still you can't tell me they're not looking at something there. I mean, they're like bottom 10 in the league at best. Cam Robinson will help. They weren't good yesterday. They're not good up the middle. I don't care what the PFF numbers say, which, by the way, Aaron, do you have them?
I do.
I'm shocked that Sheriff doesn't have a pressure because there's 100% of play where two dudes came straight up the middle and Sheriff didn't touch either of them. Trevor got walloped but got rid of the football.
Yeah, Sheriff and Harrison both with no pressures.
Yeah,
Matter
I don't
of fact,
believe that one bit.
6 pressures on the day. 1 was ETN, 2 were Walker Little, 2 were Luke Fortner, 1 was Tyler Shatley.
Yeah, I think Shatley going back in there is probably beneficial. He just seems to get the job done, whether you think he's the right guy or not. He seems to be able to get the job done anywhere he goes on that offensive line. You know, what's interesting is last week against Houston, they ran the ball effectively, especially in the second half. They still had pass protection problems, and it was noticeable. I thought they did have some pass protection problems. Again, I'll tell you that Doug Peterson, when I asked him about it today, he said, listen, we don't expect everybody to know the pass protection schemes and responsibility, but there are going to be free runners sometimes, and Trevor's going to have to take a hit. And he alluded to that, at least on a couple of occasions. That was more the story. So, okay, I'll take him at his word. The problem with the offensive line a little bit yesterday, guys, is they couldn't run the ball a lick.
No.
So there was some pressure and enough pressure and upsetting the timing of the passing game still. That's been a consistent through the first 4 games. But now we're seeing this mixed bag of sometimes pretty good with the run game and sometimes not. And they tried to run it yesterday, and they couldn't move that Atlanta front at all.
No, as a matter of fact, the highest graded run blocker on the team, guys, yesterday was Calvin Ridley, and that's because he ended up pancaking a receiver on 2 or 3 different runs. Outside of that, second best, Evan Ingram with a 67.6 grade. As a matter of fact, your top offensive lineman in the run scheme, Anton Harrison at a 64.1. Then Sheriff, Little, Barch, Hance, Fortner, then Shatley. Not a great output for the team on the ground.
Does Luke Fortner stink? Is that – because according to PFF, this guy's awful.
Every game, according to them.
So what's the deal here? Like, is he not good?
Are you asking PFF or us? Because I think you
PFF
get 2 different answers.
He's not good.
Yeah.
Are the Jags just sticking with him because he's a draft pick?
I mean, maybe they aren't. Maybe
what do you slide Barch over to? So who plays center? Shatley instead of Fortner?
Okay, so here we go. That's where I'm going. What about this week or next week, whenever they decide to bring Cam back? Because here's the deal about Cam Robinson. He comes off the list today. He goes on to the commissioner's exempt list, which allows him to practice on Wednesday with the team. I do not believe, unequivocally, that Cam Robinson plays on Sunday. Do we know he's in football shape to play?
I mean,
Doug Peterson said today he's mentally in a great frame of mind. He's physically in very good shape, but football shape's a different animal. So are you just placing him in? Maybe they will. I'm not telling you they won't, but I'm not there yet that they will do that. But if they do that, or even take it 2 weeks down the road, what about a lineup that looks like Cam Robinson at left tackle, Walker Little at left guard, Tyler Shatley at center? Would they, could they, should they make that move?
Well, now you're talking about the real only loose chink in the armor, on paper at least, being at center. Because you got your right tackle who's learning on the job, but you can see he's improving week to week, getting better and better. You got Sheriff who's playing what seems to be his best season as a Jaguar yet. You got Walker Little. You don't think so, Case?
No.
I mean, he's playing well.
No, he's not.
Certainly in the pass block game yesterday.
He is not. I don't, dude, I'm telling you, he gave up pressures yesterday. So whatever
just because
PFF
you see
is
the
deciding,
guy who lined up on the other side of him doesn't mean he gave up the pressure. They do all kinds of stunts and rotations and pull guys to the right and left.
You're right, bro. My mistake. The dude that ran straight by him and walloped Trevor, I kind of thought he would touch him. That's on me.
In any case, we don't know the play that was drawn up or who had what blocking assignment.
Okay, but he didn't block anybody. He didn't move. He just stood straight up,
independent,
and got blitzed. So what play is that?
One play that you saw a free runner, Brandon Sheriff is having a better season this year than he's had in the last 2.
That's absolutely I could
just
not.
based on pressures.
I don't believe it. I do not believe the PFF numbers there.
I agree. I agree with Kasey here. I do not think he's playing as good as he maybe better than last year, but last year was a little bit of a struggle because of injury. Okay, we'll give him a little pass on that because he was really hurt early and playing through a lot of it. But I would think the 2 years ago version of Sheriff, he's just not there. Now, this is why I bring this up. And it's not just because maybe people think Fortner's not playing well enough, and maybe the coaches think that. PFF sure as hell thinks that. But the idea is they're going to play Cam Robinson at left tackle and kick Walker Little inside. Well, then you've got Tyler Schachter. Can Tyler Schachter perform better than Fortner right now? And if you bring Schachter in, does Sheriff perform better because now you've got a veteran offensive line and only one rookie? I still think part of the problem with Sheriff getting back to elite level play, and maybe he never was going to or isn't going to because he's just aging. But if he is going to, putting him next to a center that's inconsistent and second-year player and a rookie who's inconsistent and a first-year player is not the greatest answer. He's in a very difficult spot as a right guard because I can't imagine, like we talk about Trevor not trusting anything, I'm not sure how he's supposed to trust those guys. He can say it in front of a microphone. He can say it in a team meeting. I just don't know how naturally you would be able to trust those two guys. And maybe they will be good someday. But right now they're too inconsistent for him to trust them. So putting Schachter over there, and now all of a sudden you've got a veteran offensive line guys instead of two positions that are very young. Maybe that's the fix. Maybe that's the ticket that makes this better because here's the deal. I don't care where anybody was drafted. You know, you got to go back to the old football thing. Whoever's playing better is going to win. Whoever's going to give us the best chance. Well, you know what? Teams don't always do that. Teams always, a lot of times will go with the guy who's they're invested in. The guy that's cost $15 million or a first-round draft pick or a second-round draft pick. They play them because that was their investment, and they've got to either look right or they just feel too invested to not play them. Well, screw that right now. Get it right. You've got a franchise quarterback. He can't keep taking these kind of hits. Your offense is out of sync. You've got to get it in sync. And a big part of this, play calling and in rhythm, has got to do with the trust of the offensive line. And if it means putting Tyler Schachter at center, at least for now, and seeing how that works or trying it out, so be it. Make it happen. Like, I don't care. Nobody should care. Just get it right.
I do think that might end up being a better configuration for the line, especially if you're talking about needing guys to have more trust or faith in the people playing next to them. It's certainly a larger veteran presence on that line, and I think it can end up paying dividends. But no matter what you do, no matter what configuration you have, unless it's the configuration you've been playing with for the first 4 weeks of the season, and we know it's not going to be, you're still going to need time for them to get used to each other again.
Well, time is in October, okay? Like, it's a long season still, and they're still 2-2 with an offensive line that's not playing well. So if you can figure that out, and they are going to have a different lineup regardless because Cam Robinson's coming back into the lineup in the next couple of weeks one way or another. So they are going to move people around, and you just – everybody will say, put your best five out there. Put your best five out there. That's why they're trying to put Walker Little at left guard. So they're doing it in that spot. Well, I seriously have to ask the question. And I am not an offensive line expert, and I don't claim to be one, and I wouldn't claim to be one. But I've got to ask the question, is Tyler Schachter a better option than Luke Fortner right now, at this point of their careers, at this point of the season, than Luke Fortner? And if the answer is yes, then put him on the bench and let Tyler Schachter play.
I'm with it. Whatever it takes.
Very good. Whatever it takes. Well, I really wanted your thoughts on it the most because I know you hate this offensive line so far.
What if it took agreeing with PFF?
I won't do it. I will not do it. I don't think they know what they're talking about, bro.
Okay, fair enough.
At least on the offensive line.
Okay.
How much of the problem on short yardage, which once again, Doug Peterson said we know it's an issue right now, how much of the problem is the offensive line? Or is it play calling? Where do you guys fall on that? Because the bottom line is 3rd and 4th and 1 for the last 2 years has not been good, not been good enough. Even the 4th down and 1 that they made, the play to get to Christian Kirk was a dime from Trevor, a nice catch from Kirk. And gosh, guys, it's so dang hard to get a yard or two for this offense that seemingly can go up and down the field sometimes.
It's wild. It's wild how unsuccessful that this explosive team and offense is on 3rd and 4th down for that matter, by the way. 3rd down conversions, as of today, 29th in the league, 3rd down percentage. 28th in the league fourth down percentage, 26th in the league red zone. Juxtapose that with your defense, which is ranked 8th fourth down percentage and 8th red zone defense.
Wow, those are interesting numbers. I mean, this is supposed to be a top 5 offense, and in those 3 categories, which are significant categories, I'll give you fourth downs a little goofy sometimes because there's just not a huge sample of them across the league, but third downs and red zone those are big numbers. You marry that to what I said about an hour ago on the show with my fantastic research, if you don't mind, of the opening drives of the last 2 years. And that's your problem. Like, that is why your offense hasn't scored more than 20 points in the last 3 weeks. And quite frankly, I'm not sure how much they would have scored without the defense's help in the opening week of the season. Your offensive slump and your lack of meeting expectation lies in probably those 3 categories: third down conversions, red zone, and like the fast start part of it. And you can add in somewhere probably involved in all of that is the inability to get third down 1, fourth down and 1, third down and 2. I'll go back to that Indy game. They were 3 of 12, I think it was, on third downs. 8 out of the 9, I remember counting, were third downs of 5 yards or less. That's a good number in the NFL if you can get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. The Jags got there. They still couldn't convert. So is this a product of the offensive line, or is this a product of play calling, in your opinions? A lot of people are getting after Doug and the offensive play calling press as well about lining Trevor up in the shotgun on all these short yardage situations way too much. I just read a retweeted Dan Orlovsky saying the same thing. He said, hey, if you're not putting your quarterback under center in 2023, you're not doing it right. Like, not all the time, but some of the time, or more consistently, I think is the terminology he used. And he wasn't even talking about short yardage situations. He's just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Well, the Jags don't operate very much under center, and especially in short yardage, they kind of give it away that they're not doing a quarterback sneak or a fullback dive or anything like that.
Yeah. And you asked the question, and I don't know. I wouldn't put it on the play calling as much as I'm putting it on the blocking, especially in the Atlanta game. The run block did not look healthy. Obviously, a few games to start off this season, the run blocking has not looked great. The backs haven't looked great in each of the games. I'm not sure you could chalk it up to play calling. We've got a large enough sample here where nothing works, and you got to wonder if it's the personnel.
Yeah, offensive line can't get him a yard. So I think it's on them. The play calling is what it is. But I also think you're getting to the point, not on third down, but on fourth down, just punt. Just punt it. You can't get the yard. You can't do it. You can't score on the first drive. You can't get a yard. Kick a field goal if you're in range, which they were, they didn't, or punt it if you're not. You got the best punter in the league. The one thing that's consistent is he's good at punting. You can't get the yard. Just call it. Punt the ball.
Yeah, Kasey, I think you bring up a good point right now. I love Doug is who he is, right? He's an aggressive guy, and he's going to do what he does, and he has since he's been here. He did it with Philadelphia. It worked. He won a Super Bowl because of it. But this is a little bit of the same argument we had against Kansas City late in that first half when it was 4th and 5, and they went for it. Trevor gets sacked, which probably shouldn't get sacked in that spot, just throw it up for grabs. They get the ball, they go in and score. They get the ball coming out of the break, they score. It was really the only 4-minute stretch that Kansas City's offense was any good in the game, and they won because of it. It was a bad decision. And the reason it was a bad decision is, well, partly because Kansas City, you're giving it point blank if it doesn't go right. But the bigger part of it was they've had 3 plays in that game up until that point that even went 5 yards in the game. So I think this is where Doug might have to pull back on some of the, hey, we're aggressive. That's our MO. That's what we do. We feel like we can pick up 3 yards, 2 yards, 1 yard anytime. Because the reality is in the first month, they've proven that they can't. So I didn't mind them going for it at 4th and 1. They were going for the jugular. It was already 17-0. They have confidence in what they're doing. But in hindsight, that might be a situation where, you know what? You got a bonus possession, at least get 3 points out of it. This has to go back to the Raiders game that Kasey and I would push for this. We're like, Doug, help them win. Help him get across the finish line. He went for 2 field goals in that game last year against the Raiders. It ended up helping them win the football game and finally getting over the hump because he didn't go for it on 4th down. So Doug might have to do a little bit of that right now because the bottom line is they are not executing to the standard that they want to execute. And don't leave points out there. Don't give other teams opportunities because the last part of this equation is, guys, the defense is playing well enough to keep you in games and maybe make a play. So Don't just hand it over to the other team. Get something out of it at the very least. And maybe in hindsight now, I think kicking that field goal would have been a good opportunity. Although I will say in the moment, I got what he was trying to do.
Nah, Brent, I'm not with you. I don't get what he was trying to do because you have to look at what's happening. It's 17-0, right? You talked about it. 20-0 makes it a 3-score game. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me, if you watch that game with the eyes open, you thought there was a chance at any point that the Atlanta Falcons could score 3 touchdowns. Desmond Ridder cannot score 3 touchdowns. So you kick the field goal and go up 20. They could goof around, score a touchdown, get one on defense, find a field goal. All of a sudden, you're tied if you don't score again. You go up 20-0, they can't score 3 touchdowns. They can't do it. So you take the points there, you go into half, and you go, these boys can't score on us. Your defense continues to ball out, and that's it. You call it. That's why I hated it there.
Yeah, I guess. I think I'd push back a little bit. They were already up 3 scores at 17-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
though they weren't up 3 touchdowns to beat you.
You can find a field goal. You score on defense, boom, all of a sudden it's 17-10. What happened? 20 and 17
feels
are
like
different
soft
numbers.
Conservative play calling from you, Kasey.
They can't get a yard. How much longer do we have to do it?
You're so scared, man.
What do you mean? Why am I so scared? Could take the points. Go up 3 touchdowns. They can't score it. They can't do it.
You heard Brent. They were up 3 scores already.
Brent doesn't. I mean, yeah, but apparently Brent can't do basic math. 7, 14, 21. They can't do it, Brent. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You go up 3 touchdowns. This thing is over. With Desmond Ridder missing receivers, I mean, holy cow.
But it was over anyway. Same outcome.
We didn't know yet. That's all I got for that one.
Okay.
Here's the reality is the stuff that we're debating right now. The bottom line is on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, this offense should be able to get it.
They can't.
Like, I understand there are stops sometimes. They should be able to get it. They have got to figure out why they can't get it. They spent 3 draft picks, the first 3 rounds, saying, hey, we're going to get better at the power game. They're not. They might be worse. And that's an issue. I like that Doug addressed it today and admitted, like, we know it's an issue. So what are they going to do about it? I do think the play call, I'm not a play calling guy. I don't get after them about the play calling as much as the execution of stuff and it's a player's game. I do think they have to figure out better play calling. I actually am a fan of going under center. I'm a fan of using the sneak more when it fits, not all the time, but when it fits. I don't get the whole we're not good at sneaking type thing. But at least under center, you have the threat of the sneak with a 6'6" quarterback, and I think you can do other things around it. So I'd like to see the Jags go a little more power formation when it comes to those short yardage situations. And even if they pass out of it, I'm okay with that. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690, our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air. We're back right after this.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey, this is Brian Middleton, and I'm here with Mike, a fellow Awaken 180 weight loss client. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
I was on a trend where I was about to go over 250 pounds. My cholesterol was getting higher. Since I've gone on the Awaken 180 plan, by the way, I've lost about 50 points on my cholesterol. So I went in for my blood panel within about 60 days of starting the program, and it dropped about 50 points through my doctor. So he went on the plan. My own doctor as a cardiologist went on the plan because he was so impressed. He knew what my stomach looked like, he knew my build. I came in and he just was astounded by the blood panel results. If I hadn't found Awaken 180, I probably would be on cholesterol medicine higher blood pressure medicine. It was just a life of medication in front of me, and I didn't want that.
Well, Mike, his doctor, and I all took control of our health thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Become your own success story and call 844-346-1800 or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnik Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnik Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnik Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnik. Experience used for you with Car Bravo online at nimnikbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
We're in the middle of it now, the fall season, as we hit October on the campus of the University of North Florida. Swoop with the Ospreys, soccer, cross country, volleyball, golf, swimming programs, all in mid-season form. Plenty of events to attend, something for everyone on the campus of UNF. And coming soon, it's men's and women's basketball. The schedule is out, plenty of home games to attend. Bring the family. Season tickets are for sale. Get news, schedules, results, and tickets at UNFOspreys.com. And swoop for the Ospreys all season.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, welcome back to London. Brent Martineau along with Aaron Schachter and Kasey Kuhrts. Those guys back in Jacksonville. You want to come to the London game sometime?
I'd love to.
We didn't get invited, Brent.
He just invited us.
Cool.
Let's head down there.
I did.
Isn't it
Vegas
there?
for the Super Bowl or London one time?
Oh, Vegas.
Vegas, 100%. Brent, do you not know us at all?
All right.
What is he talking about?
All right.
Hey,
London
Brent.
is a cool city, I will say. What?
Question about the London experience. You know, what we just did this the other day, been here a couple of years. You know, it's been a good run. Since I got here, all I've heard about is how great Dan Orlowski is, right? How good this guy is at his job, keys to the city. You know, you remember all this from years ago. And so
very good analyst.
Yeah, I watched the game this weekend. And who's on the call? Well, Dan Orlowski. And I'm like, Brent in London with Dan Orlowski had to have gotten the interview. Could have talked to him for 5 seconds.
But
then, I don't know about the but. We don't actually know yet. We'll find out here in a second.
Okay.
But I have a feeling it's not going to go well, folks. Then I find out via Instagram, Dan Orlowski gets delayed 5 hours at the airport, sitting in the airport, doing absolutely nothing. Brent, did you get the interview?
No, but I don't know how it relates to the airport. What do you want me to do, go to the airport and get him?
Yes, Brent. When your flight's delayed 5 hours, it means you can't go anywhere for 5 hours. And when I see something like that, I'm like, bro, dude has plenty of time to graph. Let me go to the airport. If I ever see that, that's my first move. Brent, comment. You had the interview. It was right there.
You want to know how close the interview was right here?
Oh,
Dan
no.
Orlowski was staying 2 doors down in the same hotel.
Friends. What happened, man?
I saw him. I almost did it. I almost did the Todd McShay thing. Remember when I chased the car and got the McShay?
Yeah.
And so I saw he went for a run the other morning, Orlovsky did. Oh. I saw him again while I was doing like a shot for TV. And I saw him getting off the elevator when I was getting on the elevator. And every moment that I saw him, I was like, I'm not going to say in this moment that, hey, I'm the guy that tweets at you, keys to the city, and come on the show, but you never respond.
Why?
Like, I wanted to, but I didn't. Like, I don't know. Something stopped me from doing it. I'm like, this guy's in a hotel in London, and I'm about to, like, harass him about coming on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel right.
What? I mean, you're never going to see him at another hotel in America because he lives here. Like, you both are in the hotel in London. If he really crossed you getting into the elevator, like if that interaction happened and you didn't say anything, Brent, I'm not going to be okay with it, Brent.
I really thought about it. I think it was actually like I was getting in. He was coming out. His room was like right across from the elevator. So he was about to go into his room. And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, hey, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Don't go in there yet. I got something for you.
Dan, 2 seconds, Dan. Just like that.
I thought about it. Don't worry. Like I really, really, really thought about it. And I was kind of disappointed in myself.
He should have
actually, but I didn't do it.
We've got no
JP Schachter got an interview with him.
Oh, my God.
But I didn't.
Maybe you can interview JP about his interview.
Brent, what do we do with that? What do we do with that information? Should we go get JP's interview? I mean, what do we do here?
I mean, we could. I mean, we could try. He probably wasn't pumping up ESPN 690 and us.
Well, neither were you.
The way we talked about Orlovsky. But listen, I was too busy sitting down with the mayor and Jags owner Shad Khan as well. I mean, I'm getting interviews over here, just not Dan Orlovsky.
Well,
he's too big for me, apparently. I can't get him.
No, not apparently, Brent. He's Dan Orlovsky, low-key, going in the room. You could have been like, hey, Dan, and he would have turned around. He would have been excited. He would have been like, oh, a fan. And then he would have saw you and been like, maybe not. And then he wouldn't have been thrilled, but you could have at least Brent, it's unexcusable. That's all it is. Like, we can't be having this.
We will send this to ESPN next time we pitch Dan to come on the show.
That's actually not a bad idea. We should
Football
be able to get him.
Football at 5 is coming up next. Football at least guilt him into coming on the show. Football at 5 is coming up next. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. FantasyCardBreaks.com.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Hand and wrist pain is often caused by daily activities and overuse. One of the most common conditions is carpal tunnel syndrome. The symptoms of carpal tunnel syndrome can include numbness, tingling, burning, pain, or a loss of strength. JOI has innovative treatment and surgical strategies for carpal tunnel syndrome. The team at JOI can treat other hand, wrist, and finger conditions and injuries like fractures, sprains, dislocations, and arthritis. The orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or learn more at JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine.
If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lindsay. Grizzlies superstar John Morant will be permitted to practice and travel with the team while serving his 25-game suspension to start the season for conduct detrimental to the NBA. That suspension handed down after a second Instagram live video last season showing Morant holding a handgun. 76ers star James Harden not in attendance for the team's media day today. GM Daryl Morey said Harden continues to seek a trade. The team is working with his reps to resolve that in the best way for everybody. Philly's asking price does remain high, so as a result, Harden still a member of the 76ers. Teammate Joel Embiid.
Hopefully the situation with James get resolved. If he's here, we love him. You know, we want him to be with us, and I think we have a better team with him on the floor. So, and I think he knows it too. So hopefully that get resolved. And, you know, if that doesn't change anything, it doesn't change the goal. It doesn't change anything. You know, the goal is still to go out there and try to win a championship, whatever it takes.
NFL and MRI confirmed Bills corner Trey White has a torn Achilles, is out the rest of the season. Quarterback Desmond Ridder will remain the Falcons starting QB despite his struggles.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Tuesday, the MLB playoffs are here, and I'm going to tell you all the storylines you should be paying attention to. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available.
Enter the word vacation at ESPN690.com. That's VACATION. 5:15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
We call it Football at 5 here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. But step away from football for just a moment because I want to go rapid-fire baseball. It was a wild weekend in baseball on a lot of different fronts. Obviously, it's the last weekend of the regular season, so the Marlins clinched and really played well down the stretch coming back. South Beach Gary said earlier the Orioles won't play until Saturday. That's like a vacation for Baltimore after their successful season. They don't usually play this time of year. Orioles are a very cool story. Didn't Houston come back and nip Texas, I think, for the West?
Correct.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that did happen. But maybe bigger than that is we've got some like legends of the game that retire, and none bigger than Miguel Cabrera. I am not sure, Kasey, Miguel Cabrera is respected enough for how good of a player he's been for the last 20 years.
I mean, it does fly under the radar a bit. I mean, it feels like when you have, like, in this generation, if you will, of players, like Pujols probably comes to mind first. And then, obviously, A-Rod played. But then Miguel Cabrera, the weird thing was he was so good during, like, the peak, the Triple Crown and the MVP, like, goated. But it's been rough. Like, he had to will his way to the home runs and the hits, which he did, but it goes kind of unthought about. He kind of went to Detroit, and they were good. They went to that World Series. They lost. Verlander left. Scherzer left. Everybody left except Miguel Cabrera. So he was kind of up there in Detroit. They were dying as a franchise, and Miguel was just kind of like there. So it's easy to forget about him, but this dude is goated, bro. What a career.
You tell me, Kasey. He was playing for the Marlins as a young guy. Came up to the majors at 20 years old. And so time's come for him to get the real contract. And as you know, when the Marlins see a real contract coming, they offload you. Didn't you think he'd be one of these guys like A-Rod who'd end up playing for 4, 5, 6 teams in his career?
I never thought he would stay in Detroit.
16 years in Detroit.
They fleeced the Marlins, though. That's one of that. Anytime someone brings up worst trade of all time, that one comes to mind for me because obviously he ended up to be a Hall of Famer, and Dontrelle Willis, and they got back Cameron Maybin and Mike Ribello. What a trade for those Miami Marlins. It was pretty bad. But I didn't think he would stay in Detroit. So I guess he deserves credit for that I know he did leave Miami, but Detroit's been awful for a long time, and he didn't leave. And he's a legend there, as he should be.
The crazy thing is, like, you want to talk about people who change. Again, this is just people get older and everybody changes. You can take anybody, non-athlete, athlete. I saw a picture of Miguel Cabrera when he was like 20, and he burst onto the scene in the postseason, I think it was, right? And now, I mean, he looks like he weighs like 80 pounds more than what he did as like a 20-year-old.
And here's the
entering
thing,
the league.
when you're
And
20,
now, some of that's like you're just a kid.
Yeah.
You're just a kid at that time. Go ahead, Aaron. You were starting to say something.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to talk. I was just saying, it's in any sport, you talk about a 20-year-old being a small guy, and you're like, all right, kid muscles versus man muscles. But anytime it's around baseball, I start to get a little skeptical.
Oh, don't do this.
Well, just say it. I'm not going to say. I'm just saying. The sport itself makes you skeptical.
Yeah, it does. It does. But that's the cool part of Miguel Cabrera's story. Never linked at all.
Never.
Like, at all. And obviously played a little bit like through that time early on, but that's when he wasn't like a bigger guy, you know? So, and the guy could just flat out hit. And I think so many of the guys that could flat out hit and put up numbers in this most recent era of baseball and for this last generation, so I'm really including like the last 25 years, you almost had to be linked to that era in some way, shape, or form. And I really just don't think Cabrera ever was, unless I missed something. And he's just a flat-out good hitter that could have been linked to any era of baseball. 500 home run guy, 3,000 hit guy. And I liken him, Kasey, to Manny Ramirez as a guy that could just hit and also run produce. They're two of the greatest I've ever seen at like run producing, but it didn't matter if you had an ugly swing on the first strike, you'd figure it out by the third strike and get a hit. And those two guys jump out and are very similar categories to me in terms of their prowess for hitting.
Yeah, it's not a bad call. You don't often see guys, especially now in baseball, that are hitting the amount of home runs that he did, which was over 500, and still the 3,000 hits, and then the batting average over 300 for the career, which, by the way, this is fascinating. This is how good of a hitter he was early on. Career batting average 306. He hasn't hit over 300 in a year since 2016. So that's how much equity he built up in the beginning of his career. And on this back end, he was like, yeah, when I play, I can get a hit here or there, find the milestone numbers, and, still be a GOAT. So this dude was...
Yeah, he did play for the milestones a little bit, didn't he?
I'm not mad at it.
And that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Longevity wins the day sometimes, but he was brilliant as a player. Adam Wainwright, heck of a career from South Georgia, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And just an unbelievable career that, again, goes under the radar. Like, nobody will bring his name up, but if you look at baseball the last 10, 15 years, what he was able to do, what he did with the Cardinals organization, just a terrific story. And they sent him off in style yesterday. And the other story that hit me as a Red Sox fan and covering 2003, 2004, and probably hits a lot of people if you're from a little south of here, is the passing of Tim Wakefield. It came out a few days ago that I think it was Schilling and some others.
On a podcast, Wade Boggs, yeah.
I don't think they were I don't think they were supposed – they apologized, right? Because I don't think they were supposed to put it out or the family didn't want it out. But it had come out that Tim Wakefield was battling brain cancer. Well, who knew how far along this was? Obviously, they kept that under wraps or something turned really quick because all of a sudden this weekend he passed away at the age of 57. And he's another one that I didn't know how greatly loved he was by teammates and everyone else, even though I did like the Red Sox so much. 17 years with the Red Sox, a guy that turned into a knuckleballer and made a 20-year career out of doing it. And I talked to some people that really know him in the last day or so, and they echo what you're seeing around the sports world. All-world dude. And from just down the road in the Melbourne area, And a lot of people, I think, or at least some people that I know in this area, grew up around him and said he was all-world back then and stayed that way all the way until he passed away at the age of 57. So a sad story with Tim Wakefield passing away. One other baseball note before we turn back to football. Aaron, you surprised at all that Showalter's not coming back?
No, I'm not surprised at all. He was either going to get fired or he was going to have to walk away. So I actually think Showalter, for as rough as the seasons have been with him the last 2 years, I think he's kind of beloved as a Mets manager. I know he had a little bit of issues with young players. He didn't want the young players to play. He wanted his veterans, his costly veterans to play, and that got him a little issue with the fan base, some consternation from Mets fans, but standing O from the house the last time Major League Baseball let them play.
This dude had the most disappointing season maybe in the history of baseball.
Two seasons.
And he's beloved.
I didn't say, listen, he is liked by the fan base. You can say what you want. They gave him a standing ovation on the way out the door.
They were happy he was leaving.
Maybe, but they leave on good terms. And he wouldn't be the first manager to make a return if he's ever rehired.
He's not coming back.
Of course not.
He shouldn't have came back the first time.
No, I thought it was a good hire when it happened. It just didn't work out.
It did not work out. Shout out, Buck. He's going back in the booth.
Didn't work out. I like Buck Showalter.
Yeah, stay in New York. I lied to you. One more. Are Boone? What's the latest? Because again, I haven't read a lot on it today. But Boone and Cashman, are they going to survive? Are they going to stick with them another year?
Didn't I tell you Cashman is untouchable? He's not going anywhere. Boone's another story. I mean, if he survives, it's kind of shocking.
They are still employed as of now, by the way.
And by the way, Brent, the most shocking.
I haven't heard anything.
The most shocking isn't Boone and Cashman. The most shocking, or maybe it's not shocking, certainly not to me, is that the man of the year got it right again when it comes to Major League Baseball, Brent. I said to you 4 days ago, I was like, why are the Mets and Marlins playing baseball? Baseball should just tell them to go home, pack up the bags, and call it quits. And then they ended up canceling the game because of grounds issues. You know what baseball said to them? You know what? Never mind, guys. You don't even got to play this game. Shut it down.
Nothing like the man of the year predicting the future 4 days out.
4 days ago.
I thought you were about to tell me something you got right in April.
I got it right,
it was
guys.
just 4 days ago about a game that didn't get made up.
I got it right, guys.
So few wins, hilarious. He needs to talk about them.
Batting 1,000 on this one.
Let's go. Let's go back to the Jaguars. Their win over the Atlanta Falcons, 23-7, and I've got some underrated players right now on the Jags. Oh. I don't know if you guys – Evan Ingram, to me, is not being talked about enough. We'll probably spend more time talking about him tomorrow. I thought Chad Muma played a good game, even though he got juked out of his shoes by Bijan Robinson.
PFF does not like your assessment on Chad Muma, by the way.
Chad Muma, bro.
That's surprising me.
Let me tell you something about Chad Muma. That was the wildest thing. Did you see the Toy Story juke? Holy cow. It's so bad, bro. I felt bad for the man when I saw it because that was the most disgusting thing that a toy has ever done to another toy. Holy cow.
I will tell you, that was a nasty move. That dude is good. And I feel for Muma because what is he supposed to do there? Like, there's no linebacker that's going to make that play on that.
Nah. Just unlucky.
I mean, seriously, is it? Foye Lukin's a really good player. He got a move put on him on the other side. Not like that one, but I'll tell you what, that kid, he's one of the most impressive young players I've seen come into the league. Everybody always wants to crown people. They're like, oh, this guy's great, this guy's great, this guy's great. That dude, that's one of the most impressive people that I've seen. Maybe it was just because it was in person. I couldn't believe they didn't give him the ball more. They better give him the ball more. But I think that guy's the real deal now. Keep in mind, this happens sometimes. Like Najee Harris was very good that first year. What's happened to him? But I think this is different. This guy does look like he's playing a video game sometimes.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson is extremely dynamic. The amount with which this guy can stop, change direction, momentum isn't a factor whatsoever. He must have tendons made of titanium. Titanium and rubber bands. I don't understand how he does it.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
It was impressive. I'm surprised PFF didn't like Muma, though, because I thought the two pass deflections were good. I didn't notice a lot of other things gone wrong. I thought for a guy making his first start since last year, fit in pretty well. But, again, PFF's not gospel. I thought my eyes said that he, outside of the one juke move that made all the highlights and will continue to, And I even told him in the interview after, I was like, I thought you did a good job early on. You had to make him make a decision. He made a decision, all right. And it might have given actually Cisco time enough to stop him before the first down marker, But I probably won't win too much of an argument that Uma did a good job there, because everybody's going to say, whoa, Bijan Robinson, that killer crossover was really good. The other guy that goes under the radar for the Jags, probably the last year now, second half of last year and early this year, is Darius Williams, guys. He did it again. He made the play of the game. He almost had 2 picks. And quietly, this has been a very good signing. Didn't the Jags sign him for like 3 years, $40 million, Kasey? I think this has been a heck of a signing for them.
I think it was less than 40, wasn't it? I could be wrong about that, but
I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's been great. I mean, he's been quiet. We don't talk a lot about him, which at the corner position isn't always great, but it has been. There's been very few situations, we'll say. Against Houston was one of them. There were some situations with some busted coverages, but other than that, he's been solid for them, and he made the big plays yesterday. And it just feels like somebody else on this defense. It's somebody every week. Sometimes it's Cisco, Josh Allen, pick your guy, but this week it was Darius Williams with the big play.
It was 3 years, $30 million.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Oh, 3 years, 30. Okay, I had maybe the 40 was. I was thinking Rayshon was like 4 years, 40-something million.
That's a steal.
But still, I mean, yeah, pretty good for the corner. And they had him at the nickel corner spot early. He wasn't. It took a little bit because he was coming off injury. He started to play better there, but then they needed the fix on the outside, and they go to him and they move Herndon into the nickel spot, and that was the fix last year, if you remember. Like the Jags had a big problem at the one corner spot when Shaq Griffin didn't play well and then got hurt and then was done. And sooner or later they figured it out. They go to Darius Williams. He helped solidify that. Trey Herndon, played okay and well enough down the stretch of the season. And now you look at the first part of this year, and you said it, Kasey. I think it's interesting. Cisco sometimes pops. Tyson pops. Jenkins pops. Williams pops. Herndon made some nice plays already this season. The Jags secondary, to me, is a bit underrated to go along with Darius Williams, who I think is a bit underrated. Made the play of the game yesterday, and I had a chance to catch up with him as he walked off the field at Wembley Stadium.
Oh, another big defensive play by this defensive unit. Darius Williams, local guy, comes up with the big pick six to make all of Jacksonville happy. Big moment in this one.
Yes, sir, man. Glory to God. But, yeah, we came out here, obviously, short schedule, coming out here to London. But defense prepared well, whole team prepared well. We came out here and got a win.
How big was it to get the offense rolling early, get a lead, 7-0, 10-0, for you guys to do what you wanted to do?
I mean, that's always big. Our offense, we got a whole lot of weapons, So to come out here, just get a score, just to put us on top, defense, we got to have their back anyway. Whether they score, whether they don't, we always got to come out of their back.
I know you didn't like that performance last week, so it's a nice bounce back for you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's we're going to have, and it's kind of good to have adversity, in the beginning of the season. So we just took it well, came out here, put it behind us, and just came out here and balled.
Let's go back to the pick. What did you do? It looked like you jumped it pretty good, and you probably knew you had a lot of green grass after that.
Oh, yeah, and I can give Trey Herndon an assist because it looked like he might have cut the guy off on the way. So, yeah, we know they were kind of a big, quick game team. I just kind of trusted in my instincts, trusted in the play, and got it.
You almost had another one.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. Goodness gracious, man.
I had to bring that up.
Right, man. Oh, my goodness.
All right. Hey, you don't have a long flight home. You get another one in London, so have a good couple of days off.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
5 biggest cap hits
That's
on
the third trip for Darius Williams.
I was going to say, Brent, 5 biggest cap hits on the Jaguars roster this season. At number 5, you've got Sheriff, then Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and then the number 1 cap hit on the roster this season is Darius Williams. 12.5.
Really? What's it at?
12.5.
Huh. That's it. They moved that much money around that he's the top cap hit. That's pretty wild.
And by the way, they have it out after this year if they want it, but I doubt they'll want to take it.
Yeah, I think because that's a reasonable cost for a guy that's playing the way he's playing. And, here's the deal. This isn't out of nowhere. He earned that contract in L.A. He was a good player before Ramsey got there, got really good when Ramsey was there as a sidekick. And, he's a good – what I think he is a very, very good number 2 corner. Very good number 2 corner, Kasey. We talk about this on the offensive side of the football, but – number 2 wide receivers, those are valuable guys. Heck, number 3 wide receivers now are valuable guys. I think Darius Williams might be one of the better number 2 corners in the National Football League, but nobody's going to say it or talk about it.
He's been solid. And now, I mean, yeah, I guess you can start to make that argument. I mean, there are teams with 2 good corners, but, I mean, there's very few bad games from Darius Williams. Again, Houston was one of them. This was a good one, but it feels like he's a guy that when you go out there, you know what you're going to get, which is safe and super convenient, something that you like to have, especially with your corners and in your back end. But, Brent, I have a question about this interview. Why are the people in London just screaming and yelling after the game is over? Like, what was happening that the crowd was just absolutely going
I think they're just used to being soccer hooligans, right? Maybe a little hooliganery.
It was actually it was a fun kind of atmosphere listening to it back. Like it was louder than I remembered it being. I think it was twofold. I think Aaron's completely wrong. Not everybody leaves like boom the minute the clock strikes 0. And this was pretty quick after the game. So there were still a good amount of people there. The other part of it is where they were coming off the field at midfield, where I got the interview was near the entranceway to where the Jags go in the locker room. And so even back in Jacksonville, there's a good amount of people that gather around that tunnel to try to like give a high five to a player, get an autograph, get a picture. And so we were kind of closer to a pretty good scrum of people still at Wembley Stadium. I would say there was still, nobody went home early from that game, even though it was a 23-7 game. Like it just doesn't work that way.
Huh. Nice. It shocked me that everyone's just losing their mind and the game is over. Like, it felt like they were cheering for you, Brett. I know they weren't, but that's kind of what it felt like in that moment. But
was it happening?
Shout out to the fans in London. I guess they're really going for it, even post game.
Well, there's one thing that you have to admit about the London thing, and again, I get where people stand on it. The London thing is an absolute event. It's an event. And so you get some of that kind of stuff, Kasey. Like it feels like a playoff game. It doesn't feel like a playoff game in Jacksonville because it's not that loud for, say, when the Jags are on defense, or they're singing Sweet Caroline still when the Jags are on offense, or like so. There's some of those quirky things, but the bottom line, very Super Bowl-esque, I would call it. Especially the older Super Bowls where it was very corporate and people stayed for it all, and there was a mixed bag of kind of fans from different teams or different demographics, age groups. Like it's just an event, and that's what it is. But it's an event that has grown with more and more Jags fans. Like I haven't been here in a few years. I haven't been here since before the pandemic, and this was like eye-opening to me how many more Jags fans were in this stadium than the last time I was in this stadium. It just shows you that.
We have a little bit of insight from Andy Cray, who has done a fair amount of Londoning.
Okay, cool.
And I believe Andy is a cottager, if I'm not mistaken. But in any case,
he is.
Andy says everyone's got to filter through one tube station, which for you guys, let me translate, that means a train.
Okay. Tube?
Yeah, a train, a subway.
Okay.
Everyone has to filter through one tube station, so Wembley gets extremely overcrowded. Some people wait around for the station to clear out a bit before they head home, Brent. So the applause wasn't for you, my friend.
So they're just screaming, waiting for the train?
Pretty much.
Oh, gotcha. Huh.
Thanks, Andy. It was it is a different experience. I think I didn't know that part of it. I know that the train stuff can get kind of crazy. I get that. In fact, in a few minutes, as we go to break here in a minute, I'm about to jump on one and go to do some TV
He's
stuff
gonna
around
get lost.
Big Ben.
No way he can find his way.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Weber is at Fulham. And I was like, Weber, how am I supposed to get there? Because I don't like doing this by myself.
Yeah,
I'm not
ask
really
Stuart.
sure
That's
where
fine.
the heck I'm going.
Born and raised in London, old
No,
Stuart
Stuart's
Weber.
good at it. He knows. Yeah, he knows that stuff. And so he told me where to go. So I'm going to see if I can find my way. You'll see tonight on Jags Report Live and tonight on Action Sports Jacks on CBS 47 and Fox 30 if I actually did. Big Ben will probably be behind me in my
It looks like
TV
you made it
shots.
according to the stream, Brent. I see you in a hat. You're right in front of Big Ben, my guy. You made it.
This is London wear.
Yeah, that is my London wear. In case I didn't bring my underwear. That's my London wear. Jags Report Live tonight. David Garrard's going to be at Sneakers in Jax Beach. And at 7 p.m. on Fox 30, we do have an hour show. Obviously no player over there, but we'll have reports from Stuart and myself during Jags Report Live from here in London. All right, guys, I'm going to let you take it from here. Tomorrow, we'll talk more about some of the unsung heroes of the Jags, including Evan Ingram. We'll hear from guys like Ingram and Brendan McManus and Josh Allen and Andre Sisco as we prep for another week here in London against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills come in hot. Did you see this? The Bills line has moved to 5.5-point favorites based on their performance yesterday.
5.5?
The line already moving. Yeah. I think it was that.
You like that case?
4.5, and I think it's already moved a point.
Oh, my goodness.
Casey's contemplating. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. We got to get it early and often, boys. Early and often.
We might have to suspend Kasey this week from the show. We'll see if that happens. All right,
It's free
fellas,
money.
take it away. Our London coverage presented by Boat City Heating and Air. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. These guys will bring it home overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton after that. Monday Night Football on ESPN 690 after that. Busy night on ESPN 690. Have a good one, everybody.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Breezy into this evening under partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping into the 60s, and a breezy Tuesday. It'll be partly sunny. The afternoon high will be near 85. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News, Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Hey, poker players, get ready because the World Poker Tour is coming back to Best Bet Jacksonville from October 26th through November 14th. It is your chance to become a World Poker Tour champion with 14 different poker tournaments to play in, including the Best Bet Scramble, a $5,000 no-limit hold'em main event with a $1 million guarantee. Satellites and mega satellites are going on now at Best Bet Jacksonville. Visit bestbetjacks.com for the full World Poker Tour schedule and more information. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
O'Reilly. Get ultimate durability and extreme weather performance with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and save $10, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water, pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. Getting ready for company with the Samsung Family Hub Plus refrigerator.
And football.
That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. Search for recipes, check out scores, or even stream the game to the screen at the same time, so you never miss a second of the action. Which means you can make your famous buffalo chicken dip and have
more time for football.
For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Samsung and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
O'Reilly.
Get ultimate durability and extreme weather performance with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and save $10, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Take non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. HammondAir.com.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Oh, this is the bed. Because it was the bed, I think, in the liner. Was it not? A little mixing going on.
You're right.
Welcome back to Brent and Friends. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. DJ Kasey Kuhrts.
On accident.
Bro, you have a hater in the chat.
So we're going to address it.
I'm just saying. You got a guy in here, and he's making some good points. And then some of them, I don't know.
So I'm actually excited about this. This is new for me. So I've never had a dude obsessed with me. But this is fun.
I don't know that he's obsessed. I think he's just watching. But first it started off with...
No, it sounds pretty obsessive.
It started off with, these guys don't even talk about football. What is it, baseball at 5, then football after? And I was like, he's kind of got a point here.
That was Brent.
Talking about Adam Wainwright. Come on, Brent. Let's go.
I didn't even get to I had a whole thing on Tim Wakefield. Didn't even say it.
What did you want to say?
It doesn't matter.
We're not going to hear it, Kasey.
We're not going to hear it. It's kind of like something I had earlier that just got...
No more baseball talk.
I'm with you.
All right. I was applauding him on that point.
Well, that's on Brent. That's not on me.
But then he didn't like what you were doing. He said you're a little too negative. He doesn't like that you scribble on papers. He really wants to see what's going on that paper.
All right, my boy, I have a problem. Like, what's the deal? You making fun of people
you
now?
You have a few problems. He is making fun of people.
What a bum. Keep going.
Or just a regular
person
who listens to the show.
I do like the idea that he's obsessed just staring at me. Again, this is new. It's usually not dudes. So I am excited for this.
I mean, if I could just side on Crix's side for a second, let me just say every time I drive past a car wreck on the road, I stare a little bit too. Just saying.
Still obsession.
Okay, cool.
Love it.
All right, that's fair enough.
I'm a big fan.
Then he says, it looks like Brent needs a pair of new friends. I'm like, whoa.
Well, that's fine. We're not friends with Brent.
We are. Why am I catching strays?
I just work here. Like,
what did I do?
Yeah, I don't know about you. You signed up. They assigned me to Brent. Let me tell you how this works. So basically, when you work here and you do this job, you sit behind the board, you're a board op.
Yeah.
So Brent was here. They're like, hey, they need someone to do the show. I was like, please, not me. And then Nick Fig, who was the old boss, was like, nah,
There's a lot of inside baseball.
It's got to be you, bro. And I was like, I don't want to work with Brent. And then that's how I got here. So I got stuck here. So we're not friends. Aaron signed up for this.
I did. I asked to be on the team. I said, hey, guys, let me on the team.
Yeah. So I don't disagree. Brent does need new friends.
All right. But now Crixus, or whatever his name is backpedaling. What are you doing? He says, LOL, maybe I'm having a bad day, bro. No,
maybe
man.
I'm having a bad day.
No, stay on it, man. Get after it.
Have some respect for yourself.
Have some respect for yourself.
If you're going to cook, at least cook. Don't
my
burn
friend.
It. But I do appreciate you staring at me, bro. That's real love.
I'll tell you who's not cooking anymore, Case.
Oh, this is not a good
You don't like the segue? You don't like this? I'm talking about Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious, who went down in the game yesterday. Big time injury in the Bills secondary, and we will be seeing the Bills next weekend, Case, out in, or not even weekend, right? Isn't it a? Oh, it is a Sunday game. I'm sorry.
Sunday night
I'm getting ahead of myself. It's out in Tottenham Hotspur.
The stadium, yep.
The stadium.
I'm gonna go back to drawing for our boy.
Hold on, before you go back to drawing, Case, let me take you with me because this is a big piece of news.
Yep.
You're talking about one half of a vaunted pass coverage defense not being available for play. You've already got other injury issues on the Buffalo Bills. You've got a quarterback in Josh Allen who seems to be balling out, but when he played against a good secondary in the Jets, they got him to turn that ball over. Case, do you think there's any chance that the Jag secondary, which we've already covered here nearly the entire show with the exception of 7.5 minutes at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Do you think the Jag secondary has a shot at making some more of those takeaways when it comes to Josh Allen this week? The offense's Josh Allen.
They will take the ball away from Josh Allen. Everybody does. But I think that Buffalo will find the end zone enough times to make it really not matter. I mean, if they can do what the Jets did, okay, great, but you're going to need help from Josh Allen. When you think about the interceptions in the Jets game, you had the one that was basically a punt that he just overthrew everybody in the end zone, and Whitehead was like, hey, I'm here, I'll make this play. And then there were a couple of bad ones. So, but if they're going to do that performance like they did against Miami this weekend, it doesn't matter if he turns it over 2-3 times, because if they're putting up 50, Jags ain't putting up 50. Sorry, folks. It ain't happening.
Well, one thing the Dolphins were not able to do was stop James Cook. Seems to be the only person in the Cook family who still has his legs on him, by the way. Dalvin does not look good for the New York Jets right now.
Man of the Year did not call that one.
I did not. James Cook, however, has looked tremendous, whether he's pass catching or whether he's running out of the backfield. And so the Jaguars, who normally are known by their personality for run stopping, have not necessarily been a great run stopping team this season, Case.
It'll be interesting. James Cook is the reason I think all this opens up for Buffalo, because they went from a team that couldn't run it with Devin Singletary, and they tried that for like 3 years, and then Josh Allen just straight up ramming through people. They realized that wasn't going to work. So now
that was
their whole thing.
It really was the whole, all right, guys, I'm just going to go run through 3 levels of defensive players right here.
Right. So James Cook is what opens everything up, and it's what has made them dangerous again, because if you have a threat of running the football with someone that's not Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs gets more open on a play action. Gabe Davis all of a sudden is back. They've got 2 tight ends. So if they stop James Cook, it will be ideal. But the idea that he's now there and you've seen through 4 weeks what he can do just evens it up, opens it up even more for Buffalo.
Yeah. And not to be as negative and doom and gloom as Crixus has accused us of being.
Well, I usually am.
But if I could just take you through the 4 games the Jaguars have played, Rushing yards in that first game against Indianapolis were minimal, 65 yards on the day, but you were dealing with no true number one in the backfield. Zach Moss wasn't back there. Obviously, JT wasn't back there. It was a proverbial who's who of next guy up when it comes to the Colts backfield. So 65 yards on the ground was to be expected, if not a little bit less than that, right? But then you give up 101 to Pacheco and the Chiefs, and Pacheco having a great year so far. 86 to the Texans. Now, Dameon Pierce didn't necessarily have a banner day, but you were getting chewed up by C.J. Stroud in some of those short passes. And then 127 to the Falcons yesterday. We know Bijan Robinson did a lot of that damage, going for over 100 yards on the ground. The run defense has to show up almost as much as the pass defense in this next game. It can't just be a one-dimensional defense against the Bills, can it?
Unquestioned. And I don't even know what the number is. It sounds like the number is like 100, but that's not good enough against Buffalo, who's going to throw for like 350. So that number for James Cook really, or their rushing offense needs to be more like 70.
You hope.
75.
Let's talk a little bit about last night's game because I stayed up to watch the whole thing, and boy, was it a nail-biter until the end, where the Jets kind of jetsed it up a little bit with a fumble under center. But you saw the game from my guy, Zach. I've always believed in Zach Wilson. I'm so happy to see him have such a great game. I never wanted him kicked off the team. I didn't even like it when they brought Aaron Rodgers in because I was like, you know what? Zach Wilson's team, not Aaron Rodgers' team. And finally, he's getting some of that attention he deserves right here.
Man of the year.
What a game from Zach Wilson last night. Nobody saw it coming, not even Zach. Completed a couple of passes. He was like, oh, look at me. I'm cooking. Did you happen to see Rodney Harrison and Chris Jones, though?
I did, yeah.
That was rough. For anyone who hadn't seen it, after the game, Chris Jones talking to the post-game crew over at ESPN, Rodney Harrison, one of those guys, essentially calls Zach Wilson garbage. That's not like a figurative statement. He literally tells Chris Jones, hey, what'd you think of Zach Wilson in this offense after what you saw coming into this game? It was going to be a joke, right? And Chris Jones is looking at him like, what are you talking about, guy? This kid almost torched us. We almost lost that game.
He did torch him.
And then Harrison goes back in round 2. He's like, stop it. Zach Wilson is garbage. This is a sports professional. This isn't a local radio show of a couple of doom and gloomers who don't even have names. We call ourselves friends of the host. This is like a professional football guy. Zach Wilson is garbage. Do you think Rodney Harrison has a mom? Because you know Zach Wilson's coming for revenge. Rodney better watch out. A little more of that Patriots-Jets rivalry.
Yeah, that was... Oh, jeez.
And then Rodney must be scared. Because he immediately calls Zach Wilson.
Or maybe he realized he's dumb. Or NBC was like, yeah, we're going to can you. One of the two.
You believe what you want to believe, bro. I'll believe what I want to believe.
You believe what you want. Here's what I know. He's not good enough at his job to be calling quarterbacks trash and getting away with it. Just to be
was when he was a player.
But he's not now.
Not any longer.
He does this, and he's like borderline decent. He does like only the halftime now because he doesn't do the studio show before. They go to him like a couple of times. Like, I'm just saying, it's such a weird dynamic, I guess. So I hope Zach buries him. But here's the weird part about the Zach Wilson thing. Besides the fact that he was actually good at football, which is new, you know it's like bad when you finally do well and like every player in the league's like defending you, right? You got Micah Parsons tweeting from Dallas. He's like, hey, lay off of Zach Wilson. Like, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, how long have you had to be bad for that to happen? Like, it's cool that people are rooting for him, but also it's kind of weird that every player in the league's like, nah, we got to go tell Zach that he was good. You know what I mean?
Two things I think are happening. First of all, I don't think this is players rooting for him. I think it went from funny to bullying. And then we had a whole offseason where it was like, all right, we kind of forgot about it. We moved on. And then the punchline came back. Here come the Jets. They can't move the ball 0.6 inches of play, and they don't score a touchdown against any team they play. It was a putrid offense.
Yeah.
So it was all punchlines. But I think it comes to a point where some guys are like, this is more sad than it is funny. And there is definitely a line of delineation drawn there, and I think it's usually between human and entertainment entity. For instance, from here in Jacksonville, talking to each other and all the friends on the radio, we feel very far away from the individual Zach Wilson.
Well, yeah.
So much so that we could say something and most likely won't get back to him. And so I think that's where people start to get comfortable in saying those kind of things. And quite frankly, we're talking sports. We get passionate. People say things. They also try to be funny like Rodney Harrison tried to be last night. But when it comes to a guy like Chris Jones, he literally just shook Zach Wilson's hand at the end of the game. That's a human being he was up against. And so I don't want to be lectured about people's feelings every time I joke about somebody. But I'd also hate to be Zach Wilson coming to work every day. Imagine, Kasey, if you came to that room and sat in that room and you heard people calling you garbage all day and you weren't allowed to leave.
Okay.
Are you trying to say it happens already?
I'm trying to say it happens already. Yeah, I feel very
Who calls
much
you
like
garbage, Case? Is it
you!
Crix? Oh, I thought it was Crixus.
And Brent sometimes, and that guy. Like
The guy
it's
in the
it's,
chat, yeah.
it's just not. I'm basically the Zach Wilson of the show, which isn't usually good, but it's good today. But I still lost.
Listen, I don't think you should call football players garbage, but calling coaches garbage might be acceptable, and that's what I'm going to call Matt Eberflus and the job he's doing out in Chicago right now.
And here we go.
This is embarrassing. The Chicago Bears, if there is any franchise in the NFL that is jetsing worse than the Jets, it's the Bears. The Bears are bearsing right now in a way that the Jets laugh at. That's a team that was on the brink, on the precipice. I guess so were the Jets last year, were they not? But
Yes.
they had Fields looking great, Case. They had Fields. They just stocked up on draft picks thanks to Carolina. They got a whole bunch of new personnel on the team.
What a mess.
Remade the whole defense. 2 highest rated defenders at linebacker in the league are on the Bears.
Really?
Can't do nothing on defense.
Yeah, the Bears stink.
Eberflus is a defensive coach.
He's gone.
He's got to be gone, right?
He has to be gone.
2 and out. It's 3 and out for the Jets offense, 2 and out for Bears coaching staffs every year.
I mean, the whole thing's done. So, like, right now, by the way, if you're unaware, the Bears currently hold picks number 1 and pick number 2.
But here's the thing. You saw Justin Fields have a historic day.
He's done.
Historic.
He's done. If they get the number 1 pick, he's done. They're picking Caleb Williams, and they're shipping him out of town. It's fine. And then they're picking Marvin Harrison Jr., and then they're really going to play some offense. And they'll blow out the coach, and they'll bring in whoever Caleb Williams wants or whoever they think will work the best with Caleb Williams, and they will go from there. Justin Fields. Aaron, I have news. Justin Fields is going to be available. He's probably available right now if you call the Bears. So if the Jets are looking for a quarterback, which I don't know if they are now because of Zach Wilson.
Clearly, he's playing at an elite level.
I mean, he did last night. Justin Fields is available. Like, Eberflus did a failure of a job. It's what I said when they hired him. It's the same beef I had with Brandon Staley. Just, I took it way too far with Brandon Staley. You don't hire a defensive coach for the young quarterback that needs to be sculpted a little bit. Justin Fields wasn't perfect. You needed an offensive mind around to, I think, make him better. They didn't do it. Justin Herbert ended up being really, really good, but they could have done him some favors by getting him an offensive head coach. They didn't. Staley, look what happened. So Eberflus will get blown out. Fields will be gone. It'll be Caleb Williams. It'll be, who knows, Lincoln Riley, somebody as the head coach of the Bears, and then we'll do this whole thing again, and then I think the Bears will actually be good at that point because Caleb Williams is the truth.
We got to head to break unless you're sabotaging the show, but I did want to ask you, it sounded like you started backing off some of the hatred on Staley.
No. Guy's the worst.
Well, you still have a poor opinion of it. You said maybe you took it too far.
Oh.
Is that because of what happened with Rodney Harrison and Chris Jones?
No, absolutely not.
All
I'm
right.
just, at some times I look back on it, I'm like, maybe this got out of control, but the guy stinks. I'm not taking it back.
I see what you're saying. You just turned 26 and you're maturing a little bit.
I'll take it to the grave. That guy's not an NFL head coach. He's
Just kidding.
garb.
You're not maturing anymore.
He's garbage.
You
Look at their roster. How do you not win? You're a defensive head coach. You blow the lead to Jacksonville? Brandon Staley.
He got Khalil Mack 6 sacks yesterday.
No, Khalil Mack got Khalil Mack 6 sacks after Brandon Staley got Khalil Mack 0 sacks through 3 weeks.
Let's see how that works now.
Yeah, Brandon Staley, no good. No, not an NFL head coach. That's how that works.
That's unfortunate for the Chargers that they would hire that man then.
Isn't it? Because look what they've done. They're wasting Justin Herbert. They had him on a rookie deal. Guess what happened? Didn't win nothing. Now you got him on like a multi-million dollar, 200, whatever that deal was.
Yeah, they really did waste the rookie deal on Justin Herbert, did they not?
Yeah, because they had Brandon Staley. So I'm not taking it back. I'm just saying, looking back, there are moments when I'm like, maybe I could have stopped, but now, no. And Eberflus doesn't need the hate. He gets enough.
Spoiler alert for haters in the chat. You want to know what Kasey's doodling on in that paper? He's just writing his name over and over again like some psychopath.
I told you I have a problem.
He's got a big problem. Many big problems.
We probably, you know what? We're not going to break.
Nope. What are we doing? Oh, what are we doing?
I mean,
are we getting on the couch?
No, no. Well, we can. We've got 2 minutes. There's no reason to go to break and come back for 2 minutes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Why do that to people? Are you doing overtime tonight with Brian Middleton?
After the 10-minute break.
Overtime with, well, that's nothing new for you guys because you leave that intro music on for 6.5 minutes whenever you start the show.
That is true.
Anyway.
There will be some overtime. There will be some Jags discussion.
And then we have Monday Night Football tonight. The Giants and the Seahawks. Geno Smith revenge game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why. Why do I feel like I've seen the Giants play every game this year? Have they played at 1 o'clock yet? I feel like every week it's the Giants somewhere, some way.
I don't think they've only played primetime games, but I do feel like I've seen a bit of Daniel Jones this season as well.
This team stinks.
It's not a good team.
Andrew Thomas out again. Saquon is doubtful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just awful.
Yeah, that's a team you stay away from. And I was forced to start Daniel Jones multiple weeks in this young fantasy season. I already know it's lights out for me in that league. Forget about it. Don't forget about it.
Don't forget about it?
Forget about it.
By the way,
hey, speaking of forget about it, I went 6-0 this weekend.
We're out of time.
6-0 case.
We're out of time.
Always time for a gloat.
End of the year.
6-0. What did you guys do?
Not good. If we were keeping real track, you'd be blowing it out of the water.
Out of the water, kids. Just remember, when it comes to betting moving units, this guy can do it.
No.
It's been a fun day on Brent Friends. We'll check in with Brent all the way from across the pond tomorrow here on ESPN 690. If you missed any part of the show and want to catch up, especially baseball at 5 to 5:07, you can check the podcast. You can find it at ESPN 690, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. Am I out of bump music case? Oh, we're back. Look at that. Nice mixing. Overtime up next, 6 o'clock, ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience used for you with Car Bravo online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC. We are professional grade.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
QC Kinetics is helping you see the future of joint pain relief. It's here, and it is with QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, well, don't be so fast to do that. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. Get that opinion with QC Kinetics. You can call for a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. And we're talking about lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Life is about motion, staying in motion. QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back. Get a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine are paying out over $640,000 this month in poker promotions. There will be exciting high-hand specials and no-limit hold'em tournaments all month. Catch Insta Paydays and game day promos at St. Augustine, $300 early bird specials at Orange Park, $500 Fridays at Jacksonville, and much more. Enjoy the best in poker and card games at Best Bet. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
Many of us enjoy being DIYers. Do you really need a financial advisor for retirement? Or can you just do that yourself too?
I wondered about that.
Well, it depends. Have the Talon Wealth team create a comprehensive financial plan personalized for you at no cost. Then you can compare what you're doing to what's possible with a team of fiduciaries on your side.
Okay.
Schedule now at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. One big name absent from 76ers Media Day today, James Harden. GM Daryl Morey said Harden still wants to be traded. They're working with his reps to resolve that in the best way possible for everyone. So what's next for Philly and Harden? ESPN NBA reporter Tim Bontemps.
Trying to coax him back into the fold, and that's really been the message, not only today, but really for the past few weeks from the Sixers. They want James Harden to be part of their team. They don't want to trade him, and the message from the Sixers is very clear. We are better with James Harden. We want him on the court, and we want to be back with the team. The question now, though, is when will James Harden show up? And as of right now, there's no clear answer when that will be.
Grizzlies superstar Ja Morant will be permitted to practice and travel with the team while serving his 25-game suspension to start the season for conduct detrimental to the NBA. That suspension handed down after a second Instagram Live video last season showing Morant holding a handgun. MRI confirmed Bills corner Trey White has a torn Achilles, is out the rest of the season. Brewers starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff out of this week's NL wildcard series against Arizona, right shoulder injury. Game 1 tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond hot. HammondAir.com.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. With kids back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Make Exergen thermometer the chosen thermometer for your home or business to check for fever, where accuracy matters. When measuring temperature at home and at work, use an Exergen thermometer to keep your family and colleagues safe. Available at Walgreens and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
How y'all doing? Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, ESPN 690. How y'all doing? Well, they did it.
That's the least believable they did it.
They did it, though.
It's just like, I
They
guess
did.
they did it.
They finished the game with more points than the Atlanta Falcons. They did it.
Huh?
They won a football game. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-2. I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah.
At 6:04 on October 2nd,
okay,
they're 3-3. I'll just tell you right now, they're 3-3. Lose to Buffalo, beat Indy. They're going to New Orleans on Thursday night, 3-3. I'm just telling you right now. Plan accordingly. Place a bet on it if you want. You don't have to, clearly. They're 3-3. But right now they're 2-2 after a win over the Atlanta Falcons. That's what we will talk about for the next hour. Monday Night Football after that. The Giants and the Seahawks is the game. Listen if you want. I don't know. The Giants stink. But anyway, we won't spend too much time on that. We will talk about the Jags and the Jags defense that performed extremely well. Josh Allen is at it again. 3 more sacks. This is by far not the easy way to break a record in sacks, but if it's 3 every other game, then I guess it is what it is. However you get to, 25 is however you get there, and he's already at 6. So another huge performance from Josh Allen. Darius Williams, hello. Andre Sisco, how you doing? Chad Muma, where are you going?
Yeah, hold on. Another time. Now, holy smokes.
Where are you going?
I was like, both of y'all stopped at the same time, man. Huh?
Did you see the juke on the Toy Story version?
Listen.
That was the most disgusting
thing
thing a toy has done to another toy.
Oh.
Holy cow. Foley Fatakasi, welcome to the Jaguars.
Am I giving him a ringer?
Wait, he made a play.
He's been on the team for a while.
I know.
The
yeah,
average,
you're right. It
good,
didn't deserve it.
Good. It's about, there we go.
It didn't deserve a buzz. You're right. But thanks for showing up. Finally. Chase on lining up off sides. What are we doing?
Hey, man, listen.
Trayvon Walker, I guess technically with a sack. I thought you had to lose yards, but whatever. That's fine. The good old sack for no lost yards is certainly a play these days, but it is what it is. Doesn't matter. One in the sack column, you will take it. Jags defense showed out. Desmond Ritter's no good. I don't know if we're in the same page here. Desmond Ridder did not look like an NFL quarterback. Jags defense gave him fits. Jags defense is above the average. Desmond Ritter's not good. That's what they should do to a quarterback like that. And they did it. And they got the win. But Desmond Ridder, man, yikes. Holy cow, I was wrong about that. I thought he was going to be at least decent. You got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts going, can I just get a target that's anywhere close to me?
Mac Hollins on the sideline. See that?
Saw a little bit of that.
That was awkward.
That's what you should do to a offense and a quarterback like that. And they did it. They should get props for it. Once again, we're sitting here telling you on a Monday that the Jags defense did more than enough to win a football game. This time they actually did. They did more than enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They did not get the win. They performed quite terribly last week against the Houston Texans that they did not deserve to win. They deserved to win this game, and they were good against the Indianapolis Colts. That's 3 out of 4 games that this Jags defense has been solid. Real good.
You still wouldn't have wasted, this is a little Falcon talk, just really quick. You still wouldn't have wasted, I think as you've put it multiple times, a first-round pick, a top 10 pick on Bijan Robinson after seeing him yesterday? You still feel the same way?
Here's the deal. Apparently, if they knew Desmond Ridder was that bad, they had no other choice. Because that's the only guy on your team that can get the ball, because you just hand it to him. So I would say now they made the right decision.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't have a quarterback. I don't understand how Taylor Heineke's not playing.
And listen, I listened with most of the game down, but for some reason I had it up during this part of it, and they were talking about they talked to Arthur Smith, and he said, hey, listen, at no point are we going to put Taylor Heineke into this game. I was like, okay, well, I guess not. Desmond Ridder, terrible.
Terrible.
That's your sentiment. What I would like to say is highly inconsistent. But he's running into a bit of the same issues that Trevor is. I'm not calling this dude Trevor ever. Offensive line was blocking to a certain degree, but there was pressure on him. You just named some of the guys on defense that were giving him an issue, just pass rush wise. And if I don't think that he's nearly as good as Trevor, and Trevor is struggling, quote unquote, struggling to, get the ball to receivers because he doesn't have time. I mean, are you going to be able to do that with a Desmond Ridder who is a season and a quarter into his career and he's still trying to put things together, and he wasn't thought of being the most top talented type generational talent QB. Anyway, enough Atlanta Falcons talk for me. I'm happy that Josh Allen is spending his final season with the Jags doing what he's doing, because you're right. He's on pace for a lot of sacks.
A lot of
right?
sacks.
Not even the goofy number where you would do 6 every 4 games. You said 25. Like,
that was just a guess. I don't know.
He easily could end up. Like, 12 is not out of the number, and I know it's hard to get a sack. I'm just saying.
Well, now hold on. Pump the brakes.
Whoa.
Pump the brakes. He's got 6.
Yes.
If he doesn't get to 10, highly disappointing.
Not at all. Not at all.
Brian, it's week 4. They're 4 games in.
You can't tell me how I gather these sacks and then be like, oh, but you know what? You got 6 in the first 4, but because you said if you only get to 10?
If he does not get to 10.
What's not get to 10? 9.5?
Yes. Any mathematical number where there's not a 1 in front of it.
I don't know. It's
what do you
hard
mean
to get
you
a
don't
sack.
know? They got a.
It's hard to get a sack. It's hard to get one.
I get that. No, right. That's highly disappointing.
The highly disappointing part is what's getting me. Highly disappointing? We want someone who could get to. We said it before the beginning of the season. You see how expectations change?
Right. It's 3.5 more sacks the rest of the way.
Yeah, I understand that. Also, Kasey,
Well,
we were just
4,
like,
but
can someone please get 5, 6 sacks?
I get
Dude's
that.
like, I got it. No longer disappointed, right? Nah, if you don't get 4 more.
Got to. Highly disappointed.
He would probably be disappointed. Yeah, I guess as fans, we would be disappointed too, but I'm already like, hey, listen.
His bank account's going to be disappointed if he doesn't get there.
Get your Josh Allen Jacksonville Jaguar merch right now. I don't know how they're dealing with contracts.
Or
but,
just wait. It's going to be on sale because they're not going to be able to afford him.
Oh, that's fair too.
I'm just saying.
But you got to get a signature now, so you want to do that now. Anyway, Kasey, I was very excited at certain points in the defense. Those back-to-back interceptions were great.
Very good.
And it was something where you look at the Jags defense, in my opinion. I guess I'll just start there. That was the higher point, I think, of the two sides of the ball.
I would agree.
And remind me to tell you something in the break. I don't want to say it over the airways, but it involves the Jags. You'll like it, I promise. But
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, the defense. This is the third game, I would say, out of the 4. Like, nobody played well in Houston or against Houston. Nobody played well for the majority of the game against the Texans, right?
Correct.
But for 3 of these 4 games, man, I know the numbers may not always look at it defensively. I know that the other teams maybe scored some points, but you look at what the Jags defense has done, and you're like, we're really working with enough right here. Even against defending champs in Kansas City, I thought it was a great game defensively for the most part. And you look at that first game against Indianapolis, I know they scored 21 points. I understand all that. You look at this game right here where they hold them to 7, and you're just like, they got all the pieces. Something else that you bring up that I want to bring up right now, the secondary, sometimes you're just like, okay, I think they got it. I think if everything else is in question, this is figured out. And not just because of the interceptions. You see some of the plays that Tyson Campbell was made. He made one play where Desmond Ridder actually threw the ball. It was in the right spot. It's just that Tyson Campbell was playing so much better than, he was in the placement. He was in the receiver in a way that's not pass interference.
It was London, I'm pretty sure.
He knocked it out. Yeah. And I was just like, we can cover some of these people. Because it's not just, man off the street. Like you said, Drake London, the Kyle Pitts experiment, still not working in Atlanta. That may be because of Desmond Ridder, but they got pieces out there.
I think you're absolutely right about secondary. I think the secondary is, the interceptions show up. By the way, real quick, Andy Cray in the YouTube says, baffling take from Brian there about Josh Allen. Big love, my dude, but Kasey is absolutely correct about Josh Allen. Thank you, Andy Cray.
Andy Cray gets a pass, I can't wait to meet Andy Cray and tell him where he's wrong over some Silky's chicken. But I'm going to be real with you. You get a pass. If you disagree, man, I like it. Okay.
Their secondary is really good. The secondary is, as between their safeties and their corners, 4 weeks in the best spot on their team. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. Definitely on their defense. I mean, quarterback, whatever. But if you look at their position groups as a whole, wide receivers have been somewhat disappointing. Offensive line's been bad. Running backs, they're okay. I mean, it hasn't been great. Trevor's Trevor. It's different. Defensive line, absolutely not. Their linebackers are solid. Their secondary's been great, I think. And I think a big part of that is Tyson Campbell's taking yet another step. Darius Williams is quietly always consistent. Andre Sisco might be a monster, turning into a superstar. Rayshawn Jenkins haven't heard a lot from, but at the safety position, that's, not a bad thing because things aren't going wrong. Again, everything went wrong against Houston. And the other guy who is consistently performing is Trey Herndon. I see Trey Herndon on the pass rush. I see Trey Herndon making plays on receivers. Trey Herndon is playing extremely well, and I was wrong. I thought that was their weakest spot. Going into the draft, you heard me say it.
Yeah.
I said in free agency, I thought that was a spot they were going to have a problem at. He's playing well, Brian. Not just decent, well.
Yeah, you weren't a fan.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's what's holding this whole thing together, I think, because
secondary play. So is that what you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
Secondary play, because Tyson's good. I think we know Darius Williams is good. Not everyone would say that. I would say that. Not just because of the pick six, but he's been consistent. And look what happened last year. You had Darius Williams in the slot. You had Shaq on the outside. You remember what that happened? They couldn't find anybody. You moved Darius Williams outside, Trey Herndon in the slot. It's not always great. He got cooked by Devontae Adams a little bit in that Raiders game. Then they put Tyson on him in the second half. Jacks come back and win. Boom, boom, boom. But in this season, in 2023, Trey Herndon has been a good slot corner by my eyes for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to me, that's what is holding this thing together, because he's performing as they thought he would. They've been wrong about a few things that they believed going into the offseason, I think. They were wrong about what they would get from their pass rush, clearly. They were wrong about their offensive line, I believe. They weren't wrong about Trey Herndon. It's pretty cool. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. Still think they could have drafted a corner, but I was dead wrong about Trey Herndon because he is performing.
Any concern defensively because Robinson had over 100 yards on it was like 13 or 15, somewhere around their carries. Not a bunch of carries.
Yeah,
Any concern on that run defense?
Here's what's interesting. I thought, and I've said this a couple times, but I thought coming into the season, the one thing I knew about their defense is they were going to stop the run. That's how I felt. Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson-Harris, Trayvon, linebackers, I thought they were going to stop the run. They've done okay. They did not do great against Bijan Robinson. When he got outside, it was a problem. I don't know if I'm concerned fully, but I am at least skeptical from where I was when they started the season. I thought they would be super strong at stopping the run. That has not been the case. We'll see what happens against James Cook, because Buffalo next week, they can throw it all around. But the reason Buffalo's good now is because better now is because they can run the football with a guy that's not Josh Allen just trying to straight up barrel through people.
Right.
They've got a James Cook. They're running the football now.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Obviously, Buffalo's going to run it to open up the pass, and then Josh Allen's just going to throw it over everybody. We'll see. But I would say that 4 weeks in, the run defense, I am not as impressed as I thought I was going to be, but they haven't had Devon Hamilton. When and if, I'll say if because I don't know, when and if Devon Hamilton gets back in there, I think they will be better. They'll be able to clean some stuff up. That is if Devon Hamilton is coming back. Not sure. The update from last week still has me like, whoa, what is happening? So we'll see what happens when they come back from London. But also, Bijan's just good. You know what I mean? I think they did good with the Colts. Anthony Richardson made some plays on him, but then again, there was no Zach Moss, there was no Jonathan Taylor. Isaiah Pacheco, in my opinion, in week 2, popped a couple of runs, but it never felt like it was consistently a problem. I mean, week 3, C.J. Stroud could do whatever he wanted. Didn't need to run the ball. And then yesterday, Bijan Robinson was the only thing they had, but they couldn't throw it because of Desmond Ridder. So I think there's give and take there. We'll see what happens. Again, I think James Cook is going to be a test. Colts, if Jonathan Taylor's back, we'll see. And then you've got Kamara, which is something. And then I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh. So I think they can stop Najee Harris, but that's just because it feels like everybody can right now.
Now, to your point, when you were talking about the breakdown of the first 4 games, especially with the Houston game, apparently we don't need to hop on the Jags quite as hard. I mean, hop on them hard because it was still a blowout beatdown, but apparently Houston, at least in the first quarter of the season, is kind of good.
Like, here's the thing. If you listen to Brent Friends for 3 hours every day, like, you know that there was multiple Fabet about it on me saying Houston was going to finish second in the division. I just want to make sure that still exists, and you guys know that happened. Okay. Because everyone laughed at me, both Brent and Aaron. Who's laughing now?
Well, it's
4 weeks in. I got it.
Everybody's 2-2, by the way. It's not
That's
like
fine.
It's not
That's
like
fine.
you're right, but it's not like you're wrong.
But if you say who are you most impressed with in the AFC South, I think the answer is Houston.
Okay. The way their 2-2 looks right now versus even the Colts, I would have to.
It's not Jacksonville, I don't believe. I'm not most impressed with Jacksonville in this division.
Yeah, Jacksonville would be 4th out of the
Fourth?
2-2 teams. Yeah,
that's
I'm impressed
actually
out of?
accurate. You're right. You're right. At first when you said it, I was like, but you're right because the fact that Tennessee, the fact that Tennessee actually can win is shocking. Indy's better than I thought. Houston's about where I thought, but C.J. Stroud's just a whole thing, and then Jacksonville is Jacksonville.
That's the reason why I would give the nod first 4 games in the season to Houston because of the quarterback play. Got to find out who their offensive coordinator is because between head coach, offensive coordinator, and that quarterback up in Houston, shout out to Angel Caro. Hey, man, good job.
Caro.
Hey, you remember him, right?
Yeah.
Follow him on social media and be like, hey,
did
man,
you
listen.
delete your Instagram or did you block me?
Well, I didn't block you.
Because I stumbled upon a DM that I had with you, and it said Instagram user, and I went to your page, and it was gone. What happened?
Yeah, I'm off it for a second.
Why?
You got to reset.
Can you just reactivate your account?
That's what they said, but hey, listen, you never know. You never know. But that being said, Kasey, I think overall defensively, to answer even my own question, not super worried about that. If you can cover people like the way that they were covering, granted, again, against Desmond Ridder throwing the ball, but if your secondary is covering the opposition the way that they did, the Jags secondary did in that game on yesterday, I'll let you get 100 some odd yards because you'll probably be playing from behind if our offense is able to put, some scores together and not miss out on kicking 20-yard field goals and going for it on, 4th and 1. Anyway,
we got to talk about that.
Yeah, but defensively, another impressive showing when you just really just sit down and think about it and break it down, even without the interceptions or the interception for a touchdown or the multiple sacks. Just overall, a pretty complete game. Yes, there are things you can always improve on. Yes, there are more things that you want to see. And you're talking about, Devon, potentially coming back. That's something that you're like, oh, man, if we can just get him back and he's somewhat healthy or hopefully super healthy, what does that look like for that front 7, really putting pressure and messing up the run game? But overall, defensively, not mad at it at all from start to finish. Very consistent, even when Atlanta had that run, that scoring run, I believe, right out in the third quarter, where they kind of just drove the ball down the field. That was the only time where I felt like, all right, come on now. Stop playing around out here. Otherwise, the defense from 1 to 11 they were showing out for the most part and showing up.
They were. They played well. And at the end of the day, the quarterback is what it is, but you got a first round, you got a top 10, I should say, wide receiver, top 10 running back, and a top 10 drafted tight end by that team, and you held them to 7 points. That's impressive.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it. So the defense is why the Jacksonville Jaguars won the football game yesterday in London, I believe. And we will talk about their offense. But first, we're going to take a break so we can actually get our breaks in on a Monday. This is shocking because we usually never do, but we will get the breaks in on a Monday. When we come back, Jags offense.
Oh, boy.
There's definitely some stuff to talk about here. 4 games is up. How do we feel? By the way, Cam Robinson on the way for the Jags offensive line. I believe that will be a good thing. There's some stuff to talk about with this offense. We will do it next. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts, BRB.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Breezy into this evening under partly cloudy skies, temperatures dropping into the 60s, and a breezy Tuesday. It'll be partly sunny. The afternoon high will be near 85. For the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News, Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-206-7930. 904-206-7930. That's 904-206-7930.
If you've been following along, you know about my weekly successes with Awaken 180. I say weekly because every week the number keeps going down. Hey, it's Brian Middleton, and it's now been 5 weeks with Awaken 180, and that number is now 28.6 pounds. It sounds crazy to say, but in just 5 weeks, I've dropped 28.6 pounds, and I'm doing it without sacrificing the flavor. With Awaken 180, I'm eating everything from pancakes to steak, and thanks to over 1,000 recipes, everything is already laid out for me. Like one of my favorites for dinner last week were the chili lime chicken burgers with avocado salsa. And the only difference, I have the guidance to ensure I'm doing it the right way. I started Awaken 180 because I needed a change, to make a 180 with my health and honestly, to just feel better. I have a little ways more to go, but I know I'll get there with the solution for weight loss. Do what I'm doing and put more life in your life at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Hey y'all, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk & Friends presented by Circle K this October 2nd to 8th at Timuquana Country Club. Be sure to check out college football and your Jaguars on the Jumbotrons in the Publix Tailgate Village, Birdie Beers at Circle K Party Porch, the ViStar Patriots Outpost, and more. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the legends of the game compete for a spot in the PGA Tour Champions playoffs. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience Used-Phoria with Car Bravo online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at BrentASJacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. Jags offense. It was perfectly faded music as soon as I said Jags offense. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts, by the way. They scored 23 points, 7 of those points coming off of a Darius Williams pick 6. And then you've got field goal. Probably should have had another field goal in there. And then a 30-yard touchdown pass, which actually opened the scoring from Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley. So after watching this offense for 4 weeks and after watching this offense yesterday, this is what I take away from yesterday. That is the perfect example of a game that the Jacksonville Jaguars of 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, and so far back lose because they don't have the quarterback for the moment. If you look at Trevor's stats, they're not incredible. 23 of 30, that's actually pretty incredible, for 207 and a touchdown. Nothing that's going to, if you just look at the box score, you didn't watch the football game, you go, that's a regular day. 42 yards on the ground was big. They were a big 42 yards. Every single time he tucked it and ran, it was a big play. Third down or third and long, second and long, something. He was making something happen when he decided to run the football. But that's a game with Gardner Minshew, with Blake Bortles, with name any Jags quarterback that they've had for the last little bit. They lose because those 23 completions, although weren't big completions, it was a lot of underneath stuff. It was a lot of boom, 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 get it out. You have to get it out with this offensive line. There were some tight window throws in there. Trevor took some absolute shots yesterday and got the pass away, like the touchdown to Calvin Ridley. I thought Trevor was great yesterday. I thought he was the difference between winning and losing, even as well as their defense played. But I thought Trevor was really, really good, and he won't get the credit for it. Am I overplaying this, Brian Middleton? Did you think Trevor Lawrence was as good as I thought?
I guess it's a bit more nuanced, the way that you just approach that. He won't get the credit for it. I think it's because the defense will get most of the credit. I think that's the right pecking order. But you're right. You've convinced me. Yeah, there are certain parts of the Jags' recent history, that if it wasn't Trevor Lawrence at the helm, great chance that this is not a win or it's a much closer game. But I will say this much right here. Offensively, you want to talk about highly disappointed. And I get it, you and Andy Cray and other people in the chat, if Josh Allen doesn't get to 10 sacks, it's disappointing because he's already got 6. I get that. This is highly disappointing. And offensively for the Jags, it is something where you can have preseason hype. And I was one of the biggest hype men for this offense. And to a certain degree, Kasey, it's not like I have disbelief. I think we all know where the major issues lie on this offense. And so it's hard to really have that kind of high momentum as a fan, as a viewer, as a spectator. I can only imagine what those guys are feeling in there on the offensive side when you look around and you have legitimate weapons and you have a guy who a lot of people are high on, and whether they're bandwagon high on Trevor Lawrence or they believe in him since the Clemson days, even through the struggle of the Urban Meyer season and, all of those ups and downs. But to come out here, they've scored, give or take, 16 points? I'm trying to do math in my head right now. 16 points offensively yesterday. They scored against Houston with 17.
Sorry. Yeah.
They scored 31, up in Indy.
So their output has been 31, 9, 17, and then yesterday 23, but the pick 6.
So, you look at it and you're just like, man, we wish it could click. I will say the Barch substitution.
The Barch benching is what it was.
Okay, trying to be a senator right now, Kurtz. Kurtz is like, I give you the straight truth, huh?
I guess, but that's what happened.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you got to do what works. That coupled with Cam Robinson coming back, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing that solidifies this offensive line to be a bit better. Like, I hope. Listen, Cam Robinson is an upgrade from whatever we've had out there, at the tackle position that he's going to be playing at. So that's a fact right there. So, that will improve the overall play. I hope that those two moves on the O-line will be the thing that allows Trevor to not get hit quite so much, that will allow the holes to be a little bit more open pause for, the run game. And that will give Trevor just that split second more time so that you got your guys who can get down the field and who can make plays, like a Calvin Ridley, a Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, that will give them more time to do that so that this offense can really just take off. Because this is the one silver lining I will say offensively. Well, and there's a couple, but this is the one I'm gonna leave with Kasey. Then please, I'm handing it back to you. Even with, I think, the disappointing point total output that the offense for the Jags have had in the first quarter of the season, it's still 2-2, and we know that if it ever gets clicking, if that offensive line ever glues together just a little bit more, you ain't even got to be like 10 levels above. Just give me 2 more levels above. Give Trevor 0.4 seconds more just to scan the field. It's a quick moment, but in quarterback terms, that's a whole lot of time. This is going to be the problem that I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that the Jags would be going into the season.
I will address the offensive line in a moment.
Okay.
But I will hit the chat before I do that. Krikis UG, I believe is how you say it. I'm just going to go with UG from this point out. Says, I agree about Trevor, talking about what I was saying about Trevor earlier. YB, Trevor needs time to pick these defenses apart because everyone has been playing zone. Andy Cray, Trevor had a very professional game, efficient but not appealing to the eye. True. I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid. UG again, that throw to the end zone that was dropped was a dime to Calvin Ridley. And then Andy Cray is now on your good side. Brian, you're spot on.
Boy, hey. That's what I'm talking about, man.
I thought Trevor was great, man. Again, stats don't look great. There's no, the throw to Calvin Ridley was solid because he got absolutely walloped on that play after he let go of the football. Yeah. Dropped it in, touchdown, needed it desperately. But he made a few throws like that. There is a pass to Ingram that maybe had 4 air yards, but he was staring down the barrel of a blitz the whole time. Waited, Ingram popped, hit him. It was like a 4-yard gain. I'm telling you, it was not the most impressive play of the season or the game, but it's a big-time play. And then he found Kirk the next play for the first down on the far sideline. Great throw. So I thought Trevor was fantastic. I thought he's been really good all year. The numbers don't necessarily say that, but I would hate to see this Jacksonville Jaguar team without Trevor Lawrence. This 4 weeks in. I do want to get to the offensive line, but I want to do this first. Let me pull these up. 4 weeks in, the Jags offense. Trevor Lawrence has completed 67% for 943 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been sacked 8 times. That's bad. The sacks are a problem again. I'll get to it in a second. Travis Etienne, 69 carries, 260 yards, and a touchdown. Okay. Your leading receiver through 4 weeks is Christian Kirk.
Hey, man.
Who didn't have a catch in week 1.
Fantasy football put me over the top. Man, I smoked whoever was the ABCTE team. Smoked them.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Christian Kirk, like 21.5 points.
Christian Kirk with 24 catches, 257, and a touchdown this year. Evan Ingram, 25 catches for 232. A lot of work yesterday from Evan Ingram. No touchdowns. Calvin Ridley, through 4 games, 15 catches for 211 and 2 touchdowns.
And you know, Kasey, something else.
Mm-hmm.
The top Jags receiver, yards-wise, Christian Kirk, I think he's like 22nd overall in the league.
Is that the number?
Would not have guessed that. I would have lost money on that bet if you would have told me whoever was the leading receiver for the Jags, and I would have thought Calvin Ridley. But if it was Christian Kirk, heck, if it was Zay Jones or even Evan Ingram, I was like, nah, we closer to the top 10, if not in the top 10. And so, yeah, that's the first time you see a Jags receiver, pass catcher, in total yards.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, my overwhelming take of all that. It's pretty normal, all of it. I mean, we thought this offense, especially against what they were playing 4 weeks in, before the season started, before we knew who was playing for who, we saw Indianapolis, Chiefs were going to be tough, Houston and Atlanta, and we thought, holy cow, they're going to run all of them out the building except Kansas City. It's going to be a shootout. It hasn't been that. It has not been that. So those numbers are pretty normal. And, you know, they're going to have to figure that out. But to a comment I just saw on YouTube, David Neal says,
thank you.
The offense will be better once Zay Jones and Cam Robinson come back.
It's not wrong.
And that's where I will get to the offensive line.
Okay, here we go.
So, 4 weeks in, it's much worse than anybody but me thought. I tried to tell y'all, nobody listened. That's fine. It's fine. But here's what happened. Your interior of your offensive line, which flat out stinks, flat out is not good, has already benched their left guard and has brought in the ultimate emergency, whatever you need, Tyler Schachter at left guard. He was okay. But clearly they thought he was better than Ben Bartch. Luke Fortner, listen, if you listen to Brent Friends, you know how I feel about PFF. I don't do PFF on this show because I think it's not the best. If you ask PFF, Luke Fortner's like the worst Jag for the last 2 years. That's what PFF says, okay? You can make that decision for yourself. Offensive line is a tough position to grade because everybody sees it a different way. But if you ask PFF, Luke Fortner's awful. Do the Jags see it that way? I don't know. But what I do know is Tyler Schachter can play center. And what we believe to happen now that Cam Robinson is returning is that Cam Robinson will be your left tackle. Walker Little, who has been outstanding for 4 weeks, will be your left guard. So there could be an opportunity for Tyler Schachter to play center. I don't know. I'm not telling you it'll happen. I'm just saying that that's maybe in the cards. Brandon Sheriff, who I think has been bad. Not good. PFF disagrees with me. Brandon Sheriff, I do not think has been good. And Anton Harrison's learning on the job. Was better yesterday. I am less mad at the tackle position because I think Walker Little's been really good. I think Anton Harrison's been getting better. It has not been great, but I think there's been development there from week 1 to now. Their interior's not good. This is why Trevor's getting beat up. And I don't know what the move is here. You're not taking Sheriff out. I don't think he's good enough. You've got 2 options now, I believe, at center. And then you're going to put Walker Little at guard. I believe Walker Little will be able to play guard. Because Walker Little's fantastic. I was going to say super good, but I'll say fantastic as a left tackle. So I believe you could put him anywhere he's going to block the person in front of him. Right? That's just my guess. I could be totally off. He may not be able to do it. He might just be a tackle. But Cam Robinson is certainly going to help them. But a point that was brought up by Brent earlier, and I've seen in the chat a couple of times today, is Cam Robinson going to be in game shape, in football shape for this week? That'll be the question. He's going to start practicing. They're going to start working that out. But talking to Brent, who's obviously boots on the ground in London, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Cam Robinson is going to play this week. We'll see. You see how Buffalo's been getting after the quarterback? Not a good matchup right now for the Jags, because that interior in Buffalo, Ed Oliver and the boys, yeah, they're blowing people up. What's my man's name that was a free agent for like the whole summer? Nobody signed him. Then Buffalo signed him, and he's got like 4 or 5 sacks already. Leonard Floyd? Is that who I'm thinking of? Pretty sure.
Maybe. We'll look it up.
Am I wrong?
Chat got it. Chat got us.
I'm almost positive. He's been good. The point is he was a free agent for a minute. I'm almost positive that's who it is. The name is escaping me, but
you're saying he could have been here.
I'm saying he could have been here.
Yeah.
But this is not a great matchup. But their offensive line, 4 weeks in, is the most disappointing part of their football team.
Let me just say
unquestioned.
Let me just say this. Just to the one part, then you can please keep going. Not a good matchup. On paper, not a good matchup. Based off of what they did leading up to this game right here, not a good matchup. But, man, I be watching the NFL week to week, and I'll peg a game, and I'll be like, oh, that's a terrible matchup for Arizona. And that's not the case. That's a terrible matchup for Houston. That's not the case. You know, maybe it's time for the Jags to have that's not the case, even though I do agree, especially when you start talking about the lines. That might not be the best matchup right there. The strength goes to the Buffalo Bills. I think the vast majority of people would agree with that. So, it's not a good matchup till it is a good matchup. And, you never know what's going to be thought of as far as play calling wise, which is something we haven't got to yet. But are you cool with I'm cool with the aggressiveness, Kasey. So I'm going to ask you, are you cool with the aggressiveness all the time of the Jags, including when there are surefire points on the board, i.e. a field goal in the second quarter?
Yeah. So, by the way, it was Leonard Floyd, 3.5 sacks in 4 games.
Hold on. Good job.
Yeah. So, yeah, the non-field goal can't get a yard stuff, which I just saw a comment about that again from David Neal saying, why don't we use Tank in the red zone? More so, why don't we use Tank at any point when we need a yard is a good question. They got to stop. They can't get a yard. They cannot get a yard. It's not a 1-game sample. It's not a 4-game sample. It's a year-plus sample. They cannot get 1 yard when they need it. They need a yard. They will come out in shotgun and drop 12 steps. They will get as far away as they need to be from that yard and then try to get it.
And they're running an option.
They can't do it. They cannot get a yard.
Oh, boy.
So here's my suggestion.
Yeah.
Just stop trying.
To
if
get
it's
yards.
third down, you got to try, right? Fourth down, just stop. You can't get it. They cannot get a yard. If you're in field goal range, you kick it. I was upset when they didn't kick the field goal yesterday because 17 was the score at the time. If you make it 20, then you're forcing Desmond Ridder to score 3 touchdowns. 17, they can score on defense. They goof around and score somewhere else. All you need is a really long field goal from a really good kicker, and you're tied if you don't score again. You push it to 20, that offense can't score 3 touchdowns. Yeah. No way. So I disagreed strongly with the decision there. I know it was 17-0 at the time. Kick the field goal, you go up 3 touchdowns, that thing's over, especially the way your defense is playing. But just the going for it, 4th and 1, you got to call it. You got the best punter in the league. Just pin them deep. Trust your defense. They can't get a yard. They got a guy named Tank. They got Brenton Strange, who absolutely destroys people in the run game, by the way.
It's not a game.
Just absolutely.
Just look at him. Yeah.
It's just crazy what he's doing to people. And they can't get a yard. Can't do it. 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they got no shot. Try to figure it out on 3rd down. If you don't, you know what? We're punting. Send Logan Cook out there, or we're kicking a field goal. Send Brandon McManus out there. You can't do it. It just, I'm done with it.
I would say, hey, go for a QB sneak, but we just talked about the interior that, I don't know if we can get.
Absolutely not. Can't run a QB sneak. Unless you could figure out how to run a QB sneak off Walker Little at the left tackle position. If you can get outside of him, you got a shot.
QB sneak sweep.
Now, maybe they can run it between Cam and Walker Little now, just like a weird two-step slide. They can't get a yard. Can't do it. I'm done with it.
Can't do it.
Just punt.
51-45, by the way.
Just punt or kick a field goal. The play calling in general, again, see, I feel like you're either on one side or the other of the play calling. You either hate the play calling or you think that they can't call certain stuff because of the offensive line. That's the camp I fall in. They can't protect Trevor for like a 2-3 step drop. They can't protect him for anything that they need to develop down the field. So to me, I'm putting this on the offensive line in the inability to protect for any amount of time, which is why they can't throw the ball downfield. Not everyone agrees with that. Some of you say it's on the play calling, and you might be right. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I don't think I am, but maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe it's a combination of both. That might be the real answer. I think that offensive line gets better. They'll throw the ball downfield. The play calling will get better, I believe. Or maybe not better, but more appealing to the eye. Because they can't throw the ball down the field right now. Everything yesterday except for the touchdown, which developed because that play was busted from Atlanta.
It's quick.
Everything has been quick.
Yeah.
Underneath. I mean, they've barely let anything develop. And when they do, like the first down to Christian Kirk yesterday, it worked. But they just don't have time. They legit, the best way to describe it, they have to get lucky. And then everybody blocks their guy for at least a second or two. And then Trevor can somehow make something happen. So the play calling, it is what it is. I think the sample is big enough to know they can't get a yard. Kick the field goal when you can get points. Try to figure it out on third down. Punt if you have to. You got the best punter in the game. Pin them deep, let your defense work. UG in the chat saying, I think they know how bad the line is, and they are trying to keep Trevor healthy until things improve.
That's fair.
And then obviously, which I'm going to knock on wood, but it's absolutely right. You lose Trevor, it's all over. Yeah. There's no doubt. Can't lose Trevor. Which scares me against Buffalo. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Leonard, listen to this. Leonard Floyd, 3.5 sacks. Ed Oliver, 3. Greg Rousseau, 3. Daquan Jones, 2.5. Terrell Bernard, 2. Jordan Phillips, 1.
You know what that sounds like?
AJ, the dude from Penn State, I think is where he went. Or Iowa, I don't know. He's got a sack. They got 16 in 4 games. And they don't even have Von Miller, by the way. He's coming back.
Like Philly from last year when all those guys
had
that's
a good point.
Semi-big to big sack totals, and it's just across the board. Jeez Louise.
So that'll be fun.
But we got a 6-sack guy right here, tied for first, right here. Sack God right here in Duval, I guess out in London.
Josh Allen with another 3-sack performance. The Jags beat the Falcons in a very strange victory Monday. Vibes have not been an all-time high, but they get it done, and they will now prepare for the Buffalo Bills. Coming up on ESPN 690 is the Giants and the Seahawks. Good luck to the Giants. They will need all the help they can get. Hopefully you have some Seahawks in your fantasy lineup because they are going to go off. For Brian Middleton, I am Kasey Kuhrts. Have a great night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
You can make a difference in the lives of people living with lung